Okay, thank you. We are praying. We are praying. To our Heavenly Father, who dwells in the Most High, we come before your throne of mercy this afternoon, thanking you for the gift of life, thanking you for yet another opportunity to assemble as brethren to learn from each other. Now, as we're going to begin, may you be with us, give us all the wisdom that we need, and may we be able to implement everything that we are going to be taught today, and everything that we're going to discuss. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So we can start. Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay, good afternoon. Hope we are all well. My name is Marrietta Mlambo. You can move the slide. My name is Marrietta Mlambo. So today we are going to be discussing on marriage and the most violent acts that happens in marriage, which is abuse in the marriage. When people get married, they are anticipating for a happily ever after kind of scenario. But in most cases, it won't be a happy ever after, but rather people go through things and they go abuse. I'll start by a disclaimer. I'm not a social worker, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist by profession. But what qualifies me to talk about this subject today is the experience as well as the landmarks and the bombs that I've walked on when I got married, since I got married. That experience has enabled me to assist and empower those that have walked a similar journey like the one that I walked on. So we are here to share. We are not here to bash anyone. We are not here for a pity party, but rather from the experiences, may we all pick one or two things to say, no, this will change me to be a better man. This will change me to be a better woman. Oh, as we are still, I understand some are still courting, some are still dating. So from the lessons from the experiences that we're going to share today, may we all have one thing to pick or two. So we're going to start by the question, why did I get married? Can you slide? We all get married for a reason, isn't it? We all get married for a reason. To build a family, that's one of the reasons. One of the good reasons to get married is to build a family, to have a family of your own. Some other reasons may be based on finances, getting married for all the wrong reasons. Some get married for all the wrong reasons. Maybe using someone, or you want to gain financial independence or something. I'll just share a small background from where I come from. I came from a broken family. My father and mother, they never got the chance they were not married. So my father was not there since I grew up. He never showed up, and neither did his relatives do. They only showed up when I was getting married. So I grew up in the care of a stepdad. So like anybody else, I had my own fair share of challenges. So at 20, I met a man who wanted to marry me. So for me, when he said he wants to marry, that was an opportunity an escape. You know, you are breaking free. Like, okay, these other privileges that I'm not getting here. When I get married, I'll be my own boss. I have my own home, and you know, I have my own home. I'll start a new life there. And this person has proved to love me, and which means he's ready to start a life with me. So I decided to get married. Of course, at 21, we are young and we are naive. All the red flags were there. They were clear. But for me, I thought they'll rather turn white or someone will change. The background is he was based in Namibia, and I was based in Zim. So when he came, this was a long distance relationship. So for him, within a week, he's already saying, let's get married. By then I was still in college, and I'm saying, no, I don't know you that much. We just started dating. So we need time at least to learn each other, just to get to know each other. And for him, he was like, no, there is distance between us. So it doesn't make sense for us to, to prolong, as in to wait for marriage for years, saying we are getting to know each other. So why not just get married and we get used to each other there and then. I tried, and even my people were saying, no, my parents, my mother, my grandmother were saying, no, that's too quick. Why not wait? Look, you're still in college. You're not yet done with college and you're still young. And I'm sure as adults, they had already picked some things to say, no, this will not work. But I was adamant in this, saying, no, I'll take my wife to school. I'll send her to school when we get into Namibia. They'd already picked some red flags already. They told him, okay, why not write it down that you're going to take our daughter to take her to school? Then he refused. He refused to write to commit that is going to send me to school. Okay, things happened. My lobola was paid in July 2011. Then from July, okay, that's when I saw his true character. He was not there, he sent a delegation. So after the lobola, part of the lobola was paid. We spoke on Skype. He was here, I was back home. For him to say, oh, at least we've made it, lobola has been paid, and now we go to the next stage. He was not happy. He was rather insulting. He was cross. He said, your parents have overcharged me. So what do you think we're going to eat in the house? What do you think? Where do you think we're going to get the other money? They overcharged. Why did they overcharge me? What's so special about you? So just forget the whole thing about getting a wedding. We are never going to wed because there is no money. So forget about those. So for me, that's a red flag. That's another red flag already. Why is this person so cross? Is it my fault? Am I the one who sat down and came up with a list to say we are going to pay such amount of money, or we are going to buy such an amount of grocery? It wasn't me. It was beyond my control. So for me, firstly, that was a red flag. Secondly, in families, from our family's African culture, I grew up under the care of my stepdad, my mother, and my grandmother. My paternal relatives, my father died in 2000. My in contact, they never contributed anything to my school or to my food or anything. They were not there. So now these sons-in-law, when they come, they are saying, no, we need the paternal relatives of our wife. Well, we need to see them, and they have to be there on the wedding. So you start thinking as a woman, like, you see my mother, these people have not been in touch. They have not been contributing to anything. It's not as if my grandmother was not going there, telling them, oh, that, okay, now she's in grade 1, now she's in high school, now she's in college. They knew. But now, because there was this issue of lobola, some benefits, they came on the lobola day. They came, I think 5 of my uncles and a grandfather. They came, they also wanted a share from that. And now these sons-in-law are calling shots. They are saying on the wedding, that thing of handing over their wife to their husband. They wanted one of my uncles to accompany me down, to walk with me down the aisle. For me, I didn't want it. I didn't know these people. They just came to the lobola and they wanted money. And for them, they are saying, no, they tried by all means. You see, like I'm saying, at 21, you're still naive, you don't know anything. They are busy sitting me down. No, the mothers, the maternal relatives are not so important. What is more important are the paternal relatives. So even if your mother doesn't come to the wedding, we don't care. All we want are the paternal relatives. So there was friction among the families. And I remember at one point before the wedding, I was told, it's either you sort out your mess. It was not my mess because my mother was saying, no, we cannot have these relatives coming to the wedding. So he told me, it's either you sort out your mess or forget about our marriage and forget that I'm ever going to marry you. So you see, you have been put in a position whereby he's doing you a favor of marrying you. You have a baggage. I don't know the way you were brought up. For him, it's not favorable. They want something came up like we need someone who has both parents together, not someone coming up from a broken family. So things happened within those 6 months from the July until the wedding in December. So because of the things that happened, my mother and my grandmother, they did not turn up for the wedding. Them not having they didn't turn up for the wedding because of the reasons, and they didn't even care. The way I got married, they didn't care that, okay, they didn't come. For them, they said, okay, we just proceed with the wedding. Being naive also, I've learned from my mistakes. We went ahead with the wedding. After the wedding, 2-3 days after, we had to drive. We had to drive to come to Namibia. So those who know Zimbabwe, when we were driving from, that was another, already these red flags are now blooming. When we're driving from Harare, you have to pass through Gweru, and I grew up in Gweru. So my mother even didn't turn up for the wedding. I asked him, can I at least go and just pass by and bid farewell to my parents, to my mother, my grandmother, and all, before we proceed to Namibia? He refused. We had to drive fast. We went out of Gweru without even saying my goodbyes. We came into Namibia. A day after we have arrived, I was sat down on the couch. Okay, so here we are. We are here. I'm the father of the house. And what I say here, or what I want here goes. If it is about the finances, I'm the one that is going to take care of them. And as you saw, I still have parents that need to be looked after. And I have my siblings that still need to go to school. So whatever I send my people, don't ever expect that I'll send it to your people, because they already ate my money, spent the lump sum when I paid for Bola. So I was sit down, and you see, we are already there. We are now facing reality. You have ignored the red flags. You are now you are facing it. Okay, can you just move to the next slide? You are now facing it, and you are now far from home. That's when I saw, okay, I'm now by myself here. There's nothing that I can do. The first time I was abused, my thoughts, the fear, and what I did. Okay, like I said, I cannot really point out a specific incident, as there are so many. I was groomed and brainwashed to points that I assumed that's how marriage was, and that's how it was. When you are being told that don't listen to what your maternal relatives say, they are not important. You just have to listen. You have to value the paternal ones. So already from there, from the dating period, those few weeks of dating, of knowing each other, the things were already, he was already controlling. You go to a big suburb, you just tell them, oh, today we are gathered as the, what do you call it? As the district. He's already calling you non-stop. He's telling you never to speak to a man there because they're already taken. You see all those things, it starts from there. So there are other things that maybe I have forgotten, so I cannot really say, remember where I was, where the abuse started, because I was groomed and brainwashed, you know. So the abuse that I went economically and verbally. Financially is when it has to do with the finances, it has to do with the money in the house. I'll give an instance. I didn't work. I left school to go and get married. I didn't have a job. You've just come into a foreign land. So you've just come there, you're not working, you don't know anybody, you don't know where you can go and sell tomatoes or something. So I was just here depending on him. But I was not allowed to speak to anybody, my relatives. if you ask for airtime, maybe to just put airtime in your phone, you will just give you a 5 rand, whereby when you put a 5 rand, before you even go anywhere, you can't even launch a WhatsApp. The data is already finished. And from what I know, I stand to be corrected, when you're married, I think a lady, with the help of the husband, what do you call it? You come up the grocery part. I will share the experience from what he did. He would sit me down, him that side and me here. He has his list and he has his pen, he's writing down. Okay, how much is a millimil? He puts a price there. How much is the tomatoes? He puts a price there. And don't think that he's saying it nicely. Tell me, how much is the millimil? Give me the cheapest. Okay, like that. He puts there. How much do you want your hair to? How much do you use for your hair? 200 rands. The sanitary pads, you know the sanitaries that you're supposed to use, but you go for the cheapest. Maybe you go and buy into PEP, So once he does that, he calculates the whole amount, and it goes to something like a 500 rands. He takes that money and he gives you. You go for shopping. You come back. You have to surrender all the change. You don't remain with anything. He takes everything. You don't remain with anything. I remember at one point I had missed. There was change. I bought a bottle of mayonnaise, the Cross and Blackwell brand. It was just a 20 rand by then. So I get home there. I told him, I know there was change, I decided to buy mayonnaise. I was insulted. I was told I'm spoiled. And this, I was told I'm spoiled. I don't know how your parents brought you up. Otherwise, as we grew up without these luxuries, you want luxury too much. This is over a bottle of mayonnaise. The other time he wanted me to, I told him, okay, now I want to go and study social work. So it was in another town. Then he said, okay, write me down the list that you need for the things that you need when you go to school. I come up with my list, the things that I used to get over. When I went to college, when I was still under my parents' care, I was an average student. When they made sure I have rent, they made sure I have airtime, they made sure I have all the basics. So that's what I put on the list. I was told you're spoiled. As when we went to school, it was just a bag of millimil, dried vegetables, and peanut butter. So if you're going to write these things and say you want to eat this, I don't think it will work. It's too expensive. And I didn't even go to school. Then the other time, I love cooking. So you try, when someone is at work, you're trying to come up with recipes. You make a chocolate cake there, he comes back, instead of saying, no, the cake is nice or what, he's busy poking it with a fork. He's telling me, you're spoiled. This is wasting of eggs, wasting of what. You see, you go out of your way, you want to please someone, but he doesn't want. So you stop all these things. And his diet also, he detected his diet, he imposed it on me. He wanted the traditional foods, what he grew up eating, which is beans, the peanut, dried vegetables with peanut butter, and pap is chwala. So I remember having to cook his food. I give him, and I sit watching him eat his food. Because for me, I would react to the peanut butter. I began reacting to the beans as well. So you see, if you're not financially independent, what I learned is that if you're not financially independent, they'll do what they want with you. I couldn't afford to buy myself, vegetarian sausages or what I wanted to eat. I depended on him, on what do you call it? On money and on food. Emotionally is where the mind games come in. Like when I stated that, I was told that it's either you sort out your mess or I leave you. So you see, in that case, emotionally, what does it? You start thinking, am I to blame because of what my what do you call it, of what the problem of families, am I to blame on that? Because the mind games, the blackmails, you know, that's where all the emotional abuse come. Economically, this is whereby someone will take, like, okay, you've been taken out of school. Economically, going to school, it helps you to be financially independent, right? You can be able to finance yourself for anything. But now if someone is taking you out, just taking the bread out of your mouth, and it's something that has to do with, for instance, I remember when we were having problems, you would go to your house, he has taken the bed, he has taken the TV, he has taken some things from you, things that will help you for survival. That's economic abuse. So at one point, I remember we had our problems, and the access, he took away the keys for the flat, because I had moved out, I'd left my things, I'd just taken a bed and the child and my documents and left. I had the keys with me. So he took the keys. So when I finally got accommodation after I moved out, I asked for the keys at least so that I go and take my belongings. Upon entering that flat, he had taken the bed, he had taken some of the couches, he had taken, he took the, what do you call it, was it the mattress, and left a bed with nothing. What else did he take? Okay, that falls under economic abuse. And in the instance that, okay, he managed to send me to school. When you started having problems, he left me 2 institutions, one institution with a balance of 10,000, the other one with a balance of 4,000, knowing that I will not be able to, what do you call it, to pay the fees and go back to school. It also falls under economic abuse. Then it also goes to verbal abuse. This is when someone is just lashing out some words, verbally shouting, yelling, and some of the words that we are not able to repeat here. Like maybe you might ask, were you being told where were you verbally abused? I remember at one point, he saw me, I eventually got a part-time job where I was teaching some kids homework and everything. So for him, he came from work at 5. It was just a home setup. What do you call it? He was working. It was where he was working. That's where we're staying up. The flat way. So he would knock off at 5. He goes on the balcony. He sees me. I'm walking. I'm coming back home after whatever I was doing. I'm coming back home. I'm on my phone. I'm texting. And on this specific day, I was busy texting. I was organizing on one group to come and sing. I was the Sabbath school superintendent by then. I was busy organizing on this group to come and sing. So I'm busy responding to messages. He's watching me from the balcony. Okay, you're busy on your phone. Okay, because at home I was not allowed to chat. When you go in, you have to leave your phone there until the next. As long as it's there, you're not allowed to. It comes with home rules, right? You're not allowed to use your phone. So in that, I get home. The moment I open the door, whom have you been talking to? I'm saying, no, I'm talking to the inspired people. We're organizing, they're coming. I was told that by then. I was told that I'm an idiot. Sorry. I was told that because I'm just texting, you're forever online, you're always online. Whom will you be talking to? It's not on this specific incident, but you're always online. Whom have you been talking to? You know, some of those things. And you're just too, and you have no one to tend to. And the other incident, it's a whole lot of incidents. And what bothered me the most was him being a leader in the church. I was married to an Adventist. He is an Adventist, and he comes from a family where you know, from they hold key positions in the church up until conference level. So you, Marrietta, now you come from a small church, you go and start saying they have done this to me. No one would ever believe you. So now this elder is insulting me, is telling me all the obscenities. When we go to church and Mrs. Elder, I'm sitting there, and he's preaching. He's someone that would preach, the demons will flee when he's preaching, you know, that kind of thing. But back home, you are something else. So Yeah, shoes. I was not bought one particular incident. I got married in December. So I remember in October, December 2011, October 2012, I was still putting on one pair of shoes to the point of it getting rotten inside with sweat because October is hot, right? So I remember I got very sick. I had a growth in the abdomen that needed operation. So I had to be traveling from the capital here and there for checkup, for scheduling of operations and everything. So I remained with the 50 rand and I got into jet, bought myself some slopes because it was hot. I got myself some slopes. I showed him nicely. Oh, I got into jet with the change that I got. I got some shoes. I was insulted. I was told that you love things, you didn't consult me on buying. Okay, I didn't consult him. You're supposed to be consulting. So for me, I told his brother was also based in here. I said, oh, he's cross that I bought some shoes. I didn't know that I made a mistake, but just look at my shoes. Then the brother, so the time of the operation was during the term. My mother is a teacher. So she couldn't travel to Zimbabwe from Zimbabwe because it was during the term. So the first person that would come was available was my mother-in-law. So she's the one that came. So the picture that I saw when I was still dating and the wedding and all was different now from the woman that came to help me when I was getting operated. That is in October 2012. Barely a week. Yeah, it was barely a week, barely a year into marriage. So she came, and from there you could see that she doesn't like me. She's already pointing out, why did you change that TV stand? You're wasting money. Why did you change those curtains? Why did you buy this? I came with my things from the bridal shower. So why were the curtains changed? Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Such things. And also, in pain. There's a growth in the belly here. You can't cook. You can't do anything. She would wake me up to go and, to cook for my son. And I hate that you bought an extra pair of shoes. As we grew up without those things, what's so wrong about putting on one pair of shoes? We should stop these things of wasting money. And the other time she was looking at her son's payslip and she was asking, oh, literally pointing at me. He also put this thing on medical aid. And that one said, yes. Oh, that's why money is finishing. That's why money is finishing here. That's why money is finishing. I'm no longer sending money here. Okay, I thought I saw it. The operation was done. Yeah, it was not easy. You're sleeping on the floor. She's making you sleep on the floor. You're not supposed to complain. You say, no, the floor is sore. I'm not yet in a position to cook. I'm not in a position to do this. She's telling you you're spoiled or she'll beat me. This is in the presence of my husband and his brother. For him to defend me, to say, no, just leave him. He was laughing also, literally laughing. So I remember texting a message just you were sitting there. I'm saying, but how can you laugh when people are laughing at me? Okay. So I expected him to respond via text message. So for him, he's saying, hey, why are you texting me when I'm just right here? To show everyone that this girl is even texting me. So I'm saying this happened within 10 months and I had not managed to tell my people what I was going through. I was afraid, I was embarrassed because they had told me that you see a lot of red flags here and this marriage will not work. But I was adamant and I went ahead because I thought things were going to get better. So after 10 months, that's when I decided to text my mother and my grandmother and told them, no, things are not well. I don't have shoes. I started explaining. Then they were like, why were you quiet? I couldn't respond. That was 10 months. And I remember my mother sending money for shoes. And they said, you must come back. Just by then going back home was 100 US dollars. So they said, no, you can come back home. Yeah, we didn't chase you away. But now you're now thinking, okay, if I go back there, people are going to laugh at me. Why don't I just stay? Maybe things will get better. So I stayed there until the most happened. Can you move to the next slide? Okay, the blame game. It's me who is causing the abuse. Yes, I was made to feel that I was responsible. When I got married, I was intact. I had not played around, I must put it that way. So I had a series of miscarriages, and at some points, infertility. And I'm the one that was always sent to the doctors to go for checkups. Would remain. So I'll travel a distance of 500 kilometers to go for some checkups, for some fertility treatments and everything. The first miscarriage was in the first year of marriage. I remember, I'll just explain so that people are learning, we learn from it. I remember telling him that, you don't want to be seen walking with me. You take strolls downstairs alone. You don't invite me to walk with you. Are you so embarrassed to walk with me? What is wrong? And no, I'm not even ashamed of you. What, you know? So that day that I say something like that, he took me during the night. By then we had he had sold his car, so there was no car. He said, okay, you said I'm embarrassed to walk with you. Let's go. It was during the night, a distance of about a kilometer. And I'm not feeling too well, and I'm even pregnant. So he took me, we walked, let's go and buy this, let's go. You said I don't want to walk with you. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, we walked, we went. The next day, I don't know what happened. I lost the baby. That is 3 months into the marriage. I remember again, so it was a series. I had about 3 miscarriages. The other one, I remember groaning in pain. It came from the doctor, and the doctor told me that there's a miscarriage going on. So there's nothing that we can possibly do. Just go home. Then they gave some painkillers. Then we'll give you antibiotics to prevent an infection. So I go home, I'm literally lying down on the floor. He's busy with his assignments. I'm groaning in pain. You know how pain is. And he told me, stand up. You think who doesn't want a baby here? Stand up and go cook for us. You know the pain will even go away. Like, seriously, we are not in this together. And there was a point where I was told that I can even go and impregnate outside. I can even go and pregnant outside to prove a point that I can give birth. So I've been told those things. So you feel, okay, so this thing of not having a baby, it's my fault. And I had emails also from his sisters. One sister was telling me what to do after the bedroom act. I don't know biologically that if you want to conceive, you must do this. You must telling me practical things that I must do. It's via email. And the other sister is telling me that in order to conceive, you must be in good books with people, your paternal relatives. Are you even in touch with them? So I go to him and ask him, have you been telling your sisters that we have a problem with having a baby? He just told me it's their duty to tell you when you don't know. You see? Oh, okay. I left it that way. So I went for the HSGs, those procedures, to a point whereby I got some fertility drugs. The other ones that I was even reacting to, developing tumors in the brain. At some point, I even missed my examinations. It was a mess. It was a mess until 2014. Yeah, 2014 in February. Okay, I got really sick because of 2013. I really got sick because of the medication. I got admitted. I missed my exams. So after that, I had to go home. At least for them, I really gotten sick to the point of being diagnosed leukemia. But believed in God for healing. I was healed of that leukemia. So after getting that sick, I had to go back home to go to my people so that they see me. I went there in December. Then just for 2-3 weeks, I came back. We were together in January. February, I fell pregnant. So now in February, when I fell pregnant, we were happy. I think those 6 months of pregnancy, I didn't experience any abuse because I was also working.
I think I've lost my speaker.
I
one.
was formally employed. He was supposed to give it to him, the father of the house, right? Give him, okay, you would determine what to do with the money. So, okay, I got pregnant, fast forward. 6 months down the line, he wakes me up and says, wake up. I wake up and sit. What is wrong? And I remember the parents had visited, his parents. They were the only ones that were allowed to visit anyway. So they visited that time. He wakes me up and he says, I'm just having a dream that the baby is not mine. I'm like, what? How could you dream something like that? Then he says, no, I need some DNAs to at least clear my mind. And I said, I had to take out my phone and I go on baby center to show him, okay, now we're on week what, we're on week this. So how would you think that since I went home in December, he assumed maybe I went there and I slept with someone and I was having this infection the first few months of marriage. He was like, maybe even drink something to restore virginity. So you see, mind game, you start thinking, oh, okay, what did I take? Is there really medicine or what to restore virginity? So I was met, you told me, so for him, he assumed, okay, I went back home, I slept with someone. Why did I get pregnant just after my visit from Zim? So I dismissed that thing around 6 months. I told him, no, it's very risky to do a DNA whilst the person is still pregnant. Why are you doubting? So I thought you were just talking in person. So I gave birth back home. When I gave birth there, I went to his people to show them the child. That's when they said the baby is not looking like them. He took his sister and him. They facilitated the DNA. She took my 6 weeks old baby and myself. It was not in agreement. I just saw we parked in front of the hospital, the labs. They took my child for the DNAs. And he came back alone. He left me there. I faced all the abuse. The hiding food. I was very sick. And the DNAs, I had not disclosed them to my people also. Because for me, they are telling me, I'll buy you a car. Don't tell anybody. Whatever happens, yes, that's marriage. And the other time I threatened to leave, you wanted to beat me up. But you don't even have bus fare to go even to where you don't have money. So they abused, despite the DNAs and everything, and just left me. They abused until I asked my mother to come and get me. So can you move over to the next slide? So she came and got me. Instead of apologizing, now I'm saying it's my mother who took me from them. But she had the bus fare. She took her own bus fare, came to get me, and we passed through my brother's place for him to add some bus fare for us to go home. But as soon as I left, he was told that I stole this is now his brother, who is even a pastor, a well-known pastor, who is even saying, no, when she left, she stole $150. That's what she used for bus fare. And she's so lazy. This is someone who had a C-section, and I was anemic. I couldn't do the housework, and at one point they wanted me to go to the fields. I refused. So they went around saying she stole $150. She's very lazy. She's what? They went and told people all the wrong things about me. And truly speaking, I never stole money from anyone. It's my mother who came to get me, my brother, and gave us bus fare also to add on what we had. So he blocked me and told me that forget about it. If you want the marriage, he would make you feel like he did you a favor by marrying him. So he said, if you still want me, you get on the bus or you come back the way you left, meaning I was supposed to treat my mother to go back with me. So that's what happened. I went there, I went to my people. So it was a series of abuse. He's not talking to me. Then for me, I'm also someone who was valuing marriage. You go there, you're ridiculed for coming back. You know how the community is. I pick my bags, I go back. You pick your bags and you go back. It was a cycle. We were not going to get into detail because of time, but you'd call. Okay, you would call and say, okay, the baby, we managed to get the DNA results. The baby is mine. I'm apologizing. I'll come and get you and the child in February. But don't even tell anyone that it's two of us. So you come. Okay, but he sends bus fare. You get into Namibia, he switches off his phone. You end up spending the night at a service station. So it was a cycle until it was a cycle. You try to go to the police because the abuse was on to a point where it would get physical. You try to go to the police because I didn't have scars to show for. They couldn't help me. And the moment you report to the police, his phone is already off, and I didn't know where, so take home because this person I enrolled is full time. Is the one that is paying the fees. We're not staying together. I don't know where he stays and whatever he's doing, but for me, he knows where I'm staying. He's the one that is paying the rent. He's the one that is signing the rebate for fees. He's the one that is paying the nanny for the child and 7 months. So he still had that control. And for me, you see, you're in a foreign land. To misbehave, this person is right. But no, it's got to a point where I would even go to the police, but they couldn't help him because you would switch off the phone after abuse, and we don't know where to get him, where we would get him, until I resorted to moving towns. We had to move to other towns. So the role of the church, friends, and family. No, my family stood by me. Like I said, they would always say, we don't have money to give you, but you can always come home, we didn't chase you. Yes, from the church, I'm sure there were many pastors that were annoyed by me. I would call pastor, literally crying, screaming, he has done this, he has taken the baby, he has done this. They would call him. They would really call him and say, brother, sorry, and so what you're doing is wrong. Until they would give up and say, sister, I think you must go to the police. So I ran. So there was a point that I was told, he would tell me that you can run everywhere that you want. You can run where you want. You can go wherever you want to go. But they will never do anything to me. If it's the church, maybe they can just censure me or disfellowship me, but they can never do anything to me. And I lost friends at that time. Like I said, these people are very well-known staunch believers. When you go to church, the father is the head elder, the mother is a deacon leader, the eldest brother is a big pastor there. So now you, Marrietta, you go with your stories that they're saying the baby is not theirs. It's as if you, Gweru girl, they've come with, you are naughty. So no one ever believed me at first. They just thought, no, I'm the wrong one. It's only a few that stood. So because of their status in church, okay, they'll not even put manicure, they'll not even put on anything above knee length. They sang like angels, so no one believed, even the church that I was attending after marriage, when I got married, for them, they see a soft-spoken elder, a head elder, soft-spoken. So now this woman comes and starts crying, saying the elder this and that. It's not true. And in most cases, I would approach the elderly people and I just go there. You're just a young woman. You go there, he did this to me. Okay, so must we ask you? Then no, I'll be in trouble. Because you're not allowed to say anything to anyone. So that's the church. At first, they were not willing to, they didn't want to interfere because they knew the pastors would help. Pastors really stood. Yeah, they really stood. They would call him, trying to restrain him. And at some points, he would say, no, I'm not going to listen to a white pastor. He doesn't know our culture. Or you would tell me that pastor is a witch. So you do witchcraft together. Or you're sleeping with the pastor. Why would you go to him? Okay, so those sort of things. So wherever I would go, it would remain a wrong turn. Who told you that I've been to the lawyers? Who told you that I've been to the police? You really wonder who was telling you those things. So my support system, though, throughout the years, when people started seeing the way he really is, who he was, my support system grew. I have a very strong support system that has helped me financially through prayers, through counseling. They've been there. Of course, they would do it subtly in a way that he doesn't know, because once he finds out that so give me 100 rands, they would tell you to go and stay with them. So they would do it, and even up to now, I have a very strong family support system. They're still with us. They do check on us. Can you just move to the next slide? So we are talking about someone who was not scared of the authorities, that would do anything, deciding to leave. Okay, like I said, it was a cycle. I decided to leave for good in 2017, but he kept abusing and controlling until I sought help from the courts. This leaving now in 2017 was not easy, because we reconciled in 2016, and that whole year of the business. I was the leader. It was my initiative. I'm the founder of that business. I was the founder. So for him, since he had a strong pocket, he would finance. But the whole idea of running, the business idea was mine. The running of the business day to day for the whole year was mine. So this living was not easy. The whole 2016, I'm thinking my marriage has been restored. But I think what made us not to fight in that 2016 was the distance, because I was there in another town running the school, and is working in another town. So we're running the school until one day, late 2016, I just got the immigration people. Okay, he had applied for a work permit for his sister to come. So for me, 2017, I was kicked out of the business. I was told that I'm not important. And his sister literally took my place, and he told me that my daughter and myself were no longer his responsibility. Maybe my mother must look after me, and I must bake cakes and earn a living. So I tried to fight for me to stay at the school, at the business. The sister is running it, right? Running the school. All the decision makings, they are doing them. So I used to took some furniture there for my events, because when things are okay, I'm an event planner. So I used to take what we're using at that school is what I was using for my events. So now I was supposed to be asking his sister if I needed anything, or to print anything, or just a chair or anything. I was supposed to ask his sister. If I needed money, I must first, you tell me that he has to speak to his sister first. You see, those kind of things. So the living part, you're thinking, okay, the business, I'm going to leave the business. After all this hard work, how can I leave this business for people? So it was in July 2017, I got sick, the headaches, whereby you sleep and you're not sure that you wake up because of the stress and everything. Then I decided not to look for it, and I to leave. So now I went to work and found out if they continue employing me because I was on visa. So he threatened to make life difficult. So they ended up letting me go. So this deciding to leave was not easy, because I thought about that thing of saying you cannot leave if you're not financially independent. You have to wait until you get money, set your things right. But for me, I thought, it's not me who has started being a single mother. And I wanted to break that record of saying, even if you don't have money, you cannot leave a marriage. I was going to die there. I had a child to look after. My child needed me alive. Considering the type of people that they were, I wouldn't trust them. When I die of stress, I can't trust them to remain looking after my child. So I left there, and life was not easy from that 2017, the up and downs. We've been homeless, like you moving around with a baby and a bag. You don't know, because it's refusing with the keys for the apartment. Okay, I want to go, give me back. I want to go to my apartment. He's refusing with the keys. At times, business goes down, you don't have the rentals and everything, and he's coming to disturb wherever you're staying. He wants to come and show himself, he wants to control. He had that control attitude. And then there was a scenario that got me where we had to call some social workers for intervention. So for me, getting a restraining order, it's not an easy decision. I'm sure a lot of people might agree with me. Going to the courts is not easy. I didn't have the courage, but I got help from one lady social worker who said, my daughter, I don't know your real story or what you've gone through with this man, but may I see you tomorrow first thing in the morning. So I went there. They said, no, we know it's not easy. We're going to help you to get the book. So I got all the necessary documents in place. The courts were called. I really needed it, but I just didn't have the courage. So they first checked the whole thing, and I got an interim. We met in court. Of course, he told the magistrate that he doesn't even know me. He told the magistrate that I'm inferior. He told the magistrate that I'm one that abuses him. He refused to pay the maintenance. It says he feels he can only buy the food, not give me the money. It was a whole lot of things. When you're applying for a protection order, there's supposed to be just one inquiry, but in this case, we had 2 inquiries. You go out of the court, he's busy saying, so you think by taking me to, you're forcing me to love you, moved on with my life. Anyway, I was such a young man with a bright future. You come in and you start sending me to court. So you say all those things, you feel stupid. That okay, now, he had that way of making you feel like you are wrong. So I got my protection order, it was granted. Of course, there have been custody issues here and there. He wants to fight. He had already told my daughter that I'm going to fight tooth and nail for you. Your mother, he wrote custody letters, he wrote to the court to say she's irresponsible, she's not working, I'm staying, him is staying in a what house, he's earning a salary or what, he has another business, so he's in a condition to look after the child. So those letters were put to the courts, and I had to defend myself by the courts. So, it was a cycle. But then, after the protection order, he's still violating. He's still calling me. He's still insulting me. He's still stalking me. I have the order with me. I'm holding it. I have it even in the bag. But I have no courage to go and report. And 2 friends had to help me to say, these things have to be reported because this person will not talk. And honestly, it was getting worse by the day. It was getting worse until we reported. Yeah, when he got arrested the other time, he stopped. It got better. He stopped violating, but not completely. He had his ways. He had his ways to come through. Can you move to the next slide? If you can agree with me that once you have been abused, you stop thinking, right? You stop thinking. You always think that is right, and you're made to feel that. I remember you insulting me, telling me that you're now a single mother. You're cursed. No man is ever going to marry you. You're now thin. You lost weight. Those who follow me on Facebook, I think you see some of the pictures. You have lost weight. You're losing hair. You see, you're losing hair because of stress. You think you are now good for nothing. You look at yourself, you see the worst, right? And when you're still married, your dress code has been changed from knee length to ankle length, right? But when he's out there, he's busy following those ones, putting on the bum shorts. You have to keep your hair short, but he's following those of the Brazilians, such kind of things. You look at yourself, you try taking stock. That's okay. So I've lost weight. Nobody who's going to, to love me the way I am, and already I'm wasted. I have a child. So no one will love me. So you keep going back there. You keep going back there until that time in 2017, I said, no, I think I have to leave. After the abuse, did I forgive him? Did I forgive myself? Okay, I forgave myself. I didn't know was naive. I didn't know. If I only knew the things that I know now about him, I wouldn't have gotten married. So I overlooked the red flags, which I blame on myself. I didn't do enough background on him and his family. I blame it on myself again. So, but we go through some experiences to learn and to be able to educate some people. So I forgave myself, and out of that, I have something beautiful out of it. I have a daughter out of it, right? And for him, I forgave him because it doesn't help. That's why I'm able to actually come and what do you call it? To share with. I no longer have that thing of my heart is so sore, I can't sleep, I'm crying. But I let go. I forgive him, and our life we are in a better place and a peace ever when you're still here. We used to live in a situation whereby you don't think properly, you lock the door, but you still feel someone is going to come in. You pull the stove or you pull the washing machine and you reinforce the door. So we used to live in fear. You see his car, you have to run away, you run for your life, because the next thing is going to ask you, let's talk. You know, when talking, he's talking, he's going to manipulate you somehow. You don't want to listen to that. Once you refuse to listen, then you're going to be pulled, you're going to be dragged, and they will tell you that, they will threaten you and tell you that I'll make life difficult for you. And exactly that's what you would do. Some friendships and relationships were broken. Like I said, he finds you with a friend or what is going to try and destroy some relationships. So you go and say things about you. My image was tarnished. Of course, I'm still, people say that he'd said a lot of things about me. It's only now that people are trying to know when they'll tell you, that one had come and told us this and that. So friendships were broken, relationships were broken because of him. Business opportunities were closed, like the business that we had to flourishing, but it had to be shut down because of what he did. And if it's about jobs, I lost so many jobs whereby you would go and tell them that using, at one point, they sent the immigration officials to my workplace to arrest me for using his visa to work. So knowing that they didn't arrest me and they applied for a work permit, he went in there, the Ministry of Home Affairs, and told them to not approve my work permit because he brought me in here because of I must sit together, they must send me back home. So such things, he tried by all means, I don't know how many times, but to get me arrested and to get me deported from here because we're no longer together. And since I came through marriage and the marriage is over, I must go back home. So there were times that I would work from home because I'm scared the Home Affairs will come. It was something else. Going to the offices, you receive phone calls from telling you that no, that man was here, he was telling us not to approve your payment or what. Just be careful, that one will kill you. There are times that I've been told I've moved houses for safety reasons. You wake up to go to work in the morning or taking the child to school. He's outside there, checking by the corner who is picking or dropping you. So we're not safe. But for now, the peace that we have, we love the peace. It's the peace that makes us. But now we can even go into town. We can go anywhere without fear. I can look at my phone now. No one will send me long messages cursing me at 1 a.m. No one would tell me, will swear. Because I remember at one point he told me that if I ever get another man, God will have to strike me and get me in a wheelchair. So yeah, it's one of those things. But I forgave him. I forgave him. We are going on with life. We continue praying for complete healing and forgiveness. This is now a bit small. Can we move to the next slide? The next slide. Okay, the effects on the child. My daughter has been exposed to domestic violence since she was small. Like I said, from being a child of 6 weeks of DNA, but I'm 11 months, she knew what was happening. A child exposed to domestic violence in the home is equally a victim of abuse. There are serious risk of long-term physical and mental problems. Yeah, I'm still even worried about it because the time that she was supposed to be enjoying being a child, we were busy running to courts. She witnessed everything. She was still a toddler. Something is happening with the slides to my screen. She was still a toddler and she was never comfortable around her father because of the things that were happening. The picture she has of a dad is of this man that is a mother and always talking non-stop and always trying to take her away because wherever would meet, she wants to snatch the baby, wants to go with the baby. I couldn't give him the baby because I didn't know wherever he was staying or whatever he wants to do. And in some cases, he was able to birth certificate. So I was scared the child might leave Namibia and he goes to his parents, so I'll never be able to see the child again. The first few years of years, she witnessed all the trauma and all the drama. And she always stayed with the mother that is constantly crying on phone calls, calling the police, calling the social workers, and everything else. So the piece she was only tried. So for now, we're still working on it. That last year, 2 years ago, I showed him the picture of his father and I asked, who is this man? And then she just said, it's so and so. Just like it's Mlambo. Like, no, it's your father. And I said, oh, okay. So this is my father. So for her, she didn't portray the whole image of being a father, but someone else that wasn't a father. Co-parenting, this is a process where two parents work together to raise a child, or even though they are divorced or separated. In my case, it was difficult. As you can see, you think you are showing him the child, but the next thing he wants my cell phone, or the next thing is declaring that no man must ever marry me again. This is, you're trying to show him the child, but all of a sudden he wants your phone. I remember coming for an interview at one point. My friend was going to host me. I was going to stay with a friend. So innocently, I picked the call. I told him that I'm in your town. I've come for an interview. Can you come where? And by then I was now using my friend's phone because mine was, the battery was low due to traveling. So he nicely, come where with these flats. He's coming. Nice. When you go there, he comes. You've left your phone in the house. You just have the baby. You think, okay, we're just going to park outside. He's going to see the child one day and I come back. The moment you get into the car, he grabs the baby. He sits with the baby on the stage. He's driving. He's saying, okay, you're telling me you arrived this evening. Can we just go to the bus station now and you show me the bus that you came with? If you have come to prostitute, you are doing prostitution, you are dragged there, you get out of the car, he's already holding the baby here on his waist. He's pulling you, come and show me the bus that you came with. You came to prostitute. Why are you controlling me? We are no longer together. I'm just showing you the child. So at that point, he ran away when the people around the bus station, because they were shouting obscenities. I'm sure maybe he now had a girlfriend, so what I had to offer and what he was getting there, shouting all the obscenities in public, he's shouting me, and people are now trying to call the police. He ran away. So I remember this taxi driver, the one that I had come with, fortunately he was still there. So he gave me taxi fare to go to the police. And before I knew, the police offered to take me back to my friend's house. When we got there, my friend could no longer take me in because they had shouted at them. We didn't know where he stayed. He switched off his phone, and the police just urged me to just continue the interview and to look for the baby after. So parenting never worked. You try to show him the baby, wants your phone. the courts had given him access at first until they had to cut it because of that. And now we are not in contact. We don't talk. His position was he will not to a child that he doesn't see. He will not support a child that he doesn't see, that he doesn't have access to. So yeah, that's the situation that is there now. He's not concerned. He's not looking after. Just end of last year, they tried to reach out to his family. He just said, if you want me to look after the baby, you're supposed to look close to me where I can be seeing the baby. Other than that, I'm not going to be supporting financially. So yeah, that on the co-parenting works when we are both sober, when both parents are sober. Yeah, but when both parents are sober, but no. When in my case, it's never worked, and I don't know if it will ever work. For me, I felt that, okay, whatever happened between us should not affect his love for the child. But once you try to speak to him, for him, he wants my phone to manipulate. He wants to build marriage. At one point, he went to a friend. He told them that he wants me back because I know how to look for money, which means I was just being used to get money for them, like in terms of business. Yeah, so basically, I've tried to summarize. I'm sure we all pick one or two from there. I think we're now open for some questions.
Marrietta, thank you so much for sharing your walk. Just listening to that was it was very challenging, and I'm speaking as a young man. And I think to summarize your story, there's somebody that posted on Facebook. I think it's a lady called Teresa, and she says that listening to this sounded like a Nigerian movie. It really, really sounds like a movie, but we accept that this is the site of many, many others out there. And I think that is why we've got so many numbers in here today, because some are either directly affected or some are indirectly affected. But we want to say thank you so much for the courage. And we appreciate that, you know, what you've done today and what many other speakers have also been doing on this platform in the weeks that have passed, is to create a platform where people can understand that we can tackle these issues in love. We can come out with proper Christian solutions, and that we don't need to bury our loved ones. We don't need to bury our sisters. And maybe at some point we'll also have a discussion on men who may also be going through these things. But today we are specifically dealing with GBT from the perspective of a young woman. And we really, really thank you so much. And we hope that God, you know, will continue giving you the courage. This is not a conclusion. We're going to be opening up now for questions and discussions. And I invite everybody to ask the presenter any questions that you have. Facebook platform, you can type out. Zoom, you know how we do it. You raise your hand through the platform. We will give you the opportunity to unmute yourself and to interact with our speaker. Marrietta, I'll try to take maybe 4 to 5 questions at a time. So it would help you to maybe note them down. If you've got a pen and notepad, I see that you've got there with the Women's Ministries logo on it. So good people, let us start raising our hands. Some people may not be asking questions, but they're going to be commenting. Just note those comments. You don't necessarily have to write them down, but it's the questions that I'm going to request that you keep track of. Sharon Snetemba.
Hi, am I audible, Ash?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Firstly, I would like to say to Marrietta, sisters, you are so brave. I'm not sure whether you are brave or God gave you the strength to carry through all the time. So I just hope God gives you all the healing that you need to carry forward. And thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm sure there is a lot of young ladies here who've learned 1 or 2 lessons there for the past weeks and also through your story. I'm really worried listening to your story now. This guy sounds like a psycho. I'm not even sure. How sure are you that you are safe now with your child, since you're not in harmony with co-parenting? You are not. It's not like he's come to his senses. He's still continuing. Like, how we've seen a lot of ladies, like, they get out of relationships, and when they're alone, standing alone, like independent, the guy comes one way or the other, lose by I want to see the child or something. And we hear of a story. There is a lady in Zim, I'm not sure whether it's Makweke or where, she had even filed for divorce, and the guy came, and I'm sure some people know the story better than me, and he slit her throat in front of her home in the car, of which she had someone to accompany her to the car. Like, I am so worried. I know you're saying, Guti, you've healed, you've moved on your part and all that, but how sure are you that you are safe? I mean, even your child, what steps are you taking to make sure that this guy doesn't reach to you?
Okay. I'll answer them at once. I'm waiting for other questions.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I'm muted. Yeah, thank you so much, Sharon. I think Sharon's question is quite personal in the sense that it relates to your predicament, Marrietta. Let us get their hands to come up, and I would really invite us to, in as much as Marrietta is going to be welcome to personal questions, I would invite us to also be very, very pragmatic. Let's have a holistic picture of the issue that we're tackling here. And maybe, as we ask personal questions, let's also ask very objective questions as well that will benefit. Let us think of people that are listening to this right now who are going through the similar issues and who may not have the courage that Marrietta possessed to move out or to come out of this muddy situation. So let us please also ask questions along those lines where, Marrietta, you can also share with us from your personal experience how a young Christian lady who's got access to Jesus Christ can also be able to come out of this with a forgiving heart. And I also want to know, Marrietta, at a later stage, of course, when you've dealt with everybody else, that you've now forgiven this person. How do you go about in forgiving a person that has taken you through so much? How do you differentiate between this person as an individual and this person as a victim of circumstances? And not that I'm justifying their conduct, but to say that this is a person who was under so much control of sin that you needed to run away from that sin and still be able to accept that this person was a victim of sin, in as much as anybody else can be such a victim of sin, without you remaining in a toxic environment that could, I mean, it sounds to me like your life could have gone. I'm an attorney and I've helped out a lot of people to get protection orders. And I'll tell you something, it's very, very difficult for me to help out a Seventh-day Adventist to get a protection order than it is to help out someone that is out there in the street. And so when we're hearing it from a Seventh-day Adventist, and I would really love you to even tap in more into this thing, the steps that were taken, which you highlighted, and advice. There's someone here on Facebook. This is somebody that has also managed to come out of the situation. And her name is, where is the lady? Nicola Muti says that, thank you for sharing your story. I can totally relate to much of what you have experienced. I am in the phase of co-parenting, negotiation through courts. It's been a difficult walk. May God grant you strength to carry on. Live from Escort is President Jacob Gedlehlekisa Zuma. Can you please talk to us, sir?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, it is quite a saddening story I was actually supposed to be kicked out by the network because I'm to and fro, but I'm glad that Zoom kept me in the platform. And to the presenter, my sister, from a man's perspective, I think I would say also that I grew up in an environment where you would see abuse day and night, and as a child still stay because you got no choice. But for your case to stay, to decide to, at a later stage, to move on and to find the forgiveness, I find it very much, I don't know, I could not find a word for that, how I can describe that. But all maybe I can say is thank God for the grace that He has afforded you to give you that forgiving heart. But back at the topic that we're having, I want to say, firstly, you addressed a question where you said, "Why did I get married?" And I think, from my own thoughts, the reason behind most of the times does not inform the present and the future. Sometimes it's always people that are pushing you. Sometimes it's the pressure from the church that says you are grown up and you can get married. But they forget that marriage starts from the day you put a ring on your finger until death do you apart. They only enjoy the day where we eat salads, where we eat meat. Then after that, nobody cares. Nobody has ever cared to call that young man or that young lady and say, you know what, this is the step that you're taking. And are you sure with the level of maturity that you have that you're going to handle this? And it's so very painful that a lot of immature persons put rings on fingers and then wish or then push in-laws to take decisions for them because they are not grown up. And it is very painful to have such experiences. I mean, I would understand if it was the world, but looking at it to say it is coming from the church, and per se, I'm not putting anything on top. Per se, he was in good books with the church. He was in good talks with everyone. But the Bible records that let that man who cannot lead his family not be part of leadership until he is mature enough. And we as a church, I would say we have buried our heads in the sand, because I promise you this, your story, Dorcas ladies knew. The leaders of the church knew. Everyone around knew. And because you were not telling or trying to deal with it at your own level, did not actually push them to not like to keep quiet. They had the right to come closer, just as they did when they said you must get married, to say, lady, what's happening? These are the stories that we're hearing. Are you well? And from head to bottom, as a church, when we hear such stories, we are quick to judge and say, but Lomdana Vele Kandalake, she's stubborn, uzomkondis. But have we heard all the facts? Have we looked at the history of the man when he was growing up? Have we tried to challenge the young man for a better future? No. All we know is that Ezabadili Azingeno, and or because there is too much tide coming in, then the man must be protected at all costs. I've had quite a lot of these experiences, and even amongst my friends, where friends would tell you that you don't greet my wife, you don't do this, and the woman is suffering at a bigger age than any other. So I'm calling on, right from you, Ashley, who is still yet to be married, to say, when you are saying you want to get married to that beautiful lady that you always see, is it about marriage? Is it about us trying to say, no, Ashley married an accountant and whatnot, and they're doing great, they're making money? What is it exactly about? Please tell us the truth. If you are not ready for this thing, please shut up and sit your AWS down, because this cannot make the community a better place to live in. Imagine the lady that is growing up after seeing such abuse. What she expects from a man? Instead of expecting protection, they are expecting violence. Instead of seeing a father, they are seeing a son. So please, gentlemen, please, doctors, please, church leaders, please, please, please.
No, thank you so much. You know what I appreciate most about this comment is that it is coming from a man who is in a marriage, you know, that God has made work. And we really, really appreciate that from the president. Some sobering comments coming through from there. Mafri? Yes, I think the network is terrible. Yeah, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for the presentation to the young lady, as painful as it is. But we thank God for being a strong woman and very prayerful, and God is going to see you through. And to the hosts, you've been having beautiful topics for the couple of weeks based on women and marriage. As a church, it's a question. As a church, what is there in place that you are going to put up for these young women who are bruised and wounded? What are we doing as a church for these young women? We've heard there's a lot that is happening in these marriages, but as a church, where do we come in?
Yeah, the church leaders, 230 Conversations is only affiliated to STASA in the Northern Conference, and we're not really a church, but it is a question for 230 Conversations in as much as it's for the established structures. Whatever country you're coming from, you're on this platform, you belong to a church, there is a certain influence that you have in that church. And the question is, GBV is a global issue. These things are right in our faces. It's one thing to keep talking about them in one program, and we've had some powerful programs in these past weeks. What then after here? What difference can I make? I've got sisters, I've got a mother, I've got cousins. I have a duty to step in there. In as much as you are my sister, if you were to wake up one day and hear that I am being abused by a woman, I would expect you to come and stand up for me. There's a society that I belong in, and if this society is not able to protect us, then what is the purpose of a community? That's a very important question coming through there. I want to read a few messages that are coming through. These are messages that are being sent to some of the 230 leaders here. I'm going to be taking the hands. I think the hands are popping up. These are comments. One comes in and says, I've watched a few minutes and I am emotional. I cannot deal. The other one says, hi, Sisi. Mina, this is the worst form of abuse I have endured. The worst form of abuse I've endured is emotional abuse. These are Seventh-day Adventists, right? We're not talking about people out there. I understand that there's some people on this platform that aren't affiliated with our faith and who are benefiting. But it's important that we show that we have many people within our faith that are going through these things. We'll deal with the men at some other stage. And I don't want people to now be coming in and saying, let's talk about men. We'll have a discussion. Today, we're discussing about our sisters. And says, hi, the worst form of abuse I've endured is emotional abuse. And I will never recover. And it's a pity. It's one of those abuses. Here's somebody else coming through. Mrs. Baloy is there. She's going to be our speaker dealing with emotional wounds in the next few weeks. And she says that she's praying for you, Marrietta, and thanks for sharing your story. Nomthandazo says, what would you tell your young self? This is something that I also wanted to ask. What would you tell your young self if you had a chance to go back? You're a very courageous young woman. Great job on getting out of that toxic relationship. And the same Nomthandazo is very thankful that we are having these type of discussions. Ben Zimba comes through, people, and this is for us as men. He says that these are men who give us a bad name and shame us who want to be future husbands. It's so heartbreaking. And Marrietta, I must say, listening to this as a young man, and I've been used as an example, I would love to get married one day. And, you know, I know that there's so many good men out there, but I can imagine how many young women are listening to this today who are going to be very, very, very skeptical. You dated a Seventh-day Adventist, he ate like a rabbit, he probably had proper vegetables and everything. He understood the spirit of prophecy, and he takes you through this. It's painting a bad picture on us. So young men who are on the platform as well as old men, we not only have the duty to protect our sisters, so in praying and uprooting and removing them from demonic situations, but so in so doing, we are also creating a better future for ourselves as young men. Because right now, as things stand, channels are being closed for us. Here's another one. Sissy, honestly, I'm still gathering strength and courage, and all I need to leave. This is someone who is currently in the same situation as you, Marrietta. I will never recover from the body shaming I endured after giving birth to Nobonga. It's been 6 years, but still, as I type, tears are flowing to show the hurt I'm going through. I'll never forget the nights I have slept because I don't have body as slim. Sissy, I will not forget the XSL tracksuit that was bought for me, mina ningu M, meaning that's how he views me. Mina, I've been alone from day one with the kids through thick and thin. I'm studying, but every second I tell him I have passed, all credit goes ngoba ibona abangenze umuntu. Here's another one. Sissy, it hurts. Some days I want to commit suicide. Some days I want to die with my kids. But one, because the thought of leaving them scares me even worse. And then I think that my colleagues are going to be sending more and more as this come through. And you know, today I'm answering, just reading this right now, I am getting an understanding of some of these women that commit suicide with their children. This is the type of stuff that we are dealing with. Lubandas, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. There is quite a number of things that I would like to touch on. First, one asked that what's the role of the church in all this? My take is our emphasis as a church must go to building families, proper families, not imaginary families, proper families. One, we can't build, we can't have a family structure that is Eurocentric while we are in Africa. We need to address our problems here in Africa as Africans, what affects us and how it affects us. And instead of us pushing for tithing more, we should concentrate on building families. Believe you me, if we build strong families, we won't be talking about tithing and all these other things, and even evangelism. Because the stronger the families they are, the more evangelizing we are, and the more tithing we are going to return. So the strength of the church should be in building families, because it affects the whole system and other departments that we concentrate on. So I think we are concentrating on the branches, leaving the roots alone. And the second point is you will realize that many of us get married because we want to get married. To those that did psychology, you skip stages of life. If you skip one stage of life, it will affect you in your marriage. 1, 2, it's not marrying young or marrying old that counts. It's being mature enough to marry. Do you want to get married? Why do you want to get married? Are you expecting something in marriage, or you are willing to give something in that marriage? If we ask those such questions, we'll come up with a mentality that will help us in marriage. And the last point that I would like to make now, before I am labeled Makele, is that when we are talking about men that are abusive and who are leaders, we are talking of people that are, one, influential in the church. They tithe good, they tithe a lot of money in the church, and they're supportive.
I think I'm losing the Lubandas there. And I note that they don't want to run the risk of being called Makele, so I'm gonna mute them. Lubandas, please feel free to raise your hand again when your network is fine. Sister Marrietta, a few things have been shared thus far. There's about 2 or 5 hands, I mean, between 4 and 5 hands that are up. Perhaps you could share your thoughts on what's been shared thus far.
Oh, okay. I'll first answer on this one on now the protection orders, how I went about it. Like I said, it was not easy. I had to do it through friends, and pastors got tired of me calling them to speak to someone who is unreasonable. So they would just tell me. I remember the last conversation, when I was being, there was a scenario where I called the pastor and I said, Pastor, they've done this. They've come together, his father, his mother. They've taken the child away from me. The pastor said, Madam, go to the police. And I said, no, these are elderly people and the elderly people involved. So I cannot go to the police. And he said, Madam, I said, go to the police. So that's how I managed to go to the police. And that's how I managed to start working on the protection orders. Of course, I had people coming to me. Only one, actually, that was a friend to his brother that came to me and said, don't you think what we have done here is ungodly? You are behaving like the ungodly people, the people that are in the world. These protection orders were put for the worldly people. They are not for us as believers, Seventh-day Adventists, to use them. So I would suggest you go and revoke your protection order because they are not godly. So that's how it's never easy. People are associating these protection orders to being ungodly. So I don't know now, as a woman or as a man who is abused, as an Adventist, are we not supposed to go and get these protection orders? I also need to learn on are we not allowed to go and get these protection orders? Then there's an issue of church, the role of the church when it comes to these things. I'm sorry to say that at times our churches are not willing to embrace a woman that is coming out of a marriage. You're already a single mother, right? Or you're a single sister. You're not embraced, you're not welcomed because they are regarded as a failure. You didn't manage to keep a marriage, and you'll be labeled like our elderly sisters, our married sisters will think, okay, these ladies are here to take our husbands. So, I think you understand what I mean. So that gets difficult for women to walk out of marriages because in the church, besides the society, the church itself, it doesn't welcome the sisters that have come back from failed marriages. Of course, there are some churches where these gender-based violence issues, it's something that you find that is something that people don't want to talk about it in the church because the abusers are also right in the churches and their leaders. But there are some churches that have introduced the programs like End It Now, to try and educate people on abuse. So I think that's what I can say about all I can say about the church. And then the other question, what would you tell yourself as a young woman if I were to go back? If I were to go back to 10 years ago, I would not go back. I wouldn't have gotten married. I would try and look at the red flags, do proper background checks, not on the guy alone, but on his family as well. Because knowing now, digging into, I'm not actually digging information. People are coming and telling me that this guy broke up from a relationship where which his parents were not approving of. They didn't want the lady, you know. So after that, that's when we heard he's already getting married, which means it was a rebound relationship. This guy didn't love me. And you know, when there's no love, then abuse is inevitable. So if I had done the background checks, I would have known that, okay, I'm a rebound, and the family is controlling. They control his relationships. They don't want this girl because she's of a different tribe. And now I'm of the same tribe that he went to marry. So background checks, I would have done the background checks. And like I say, I've learned from my lessons. You learn from it. I remember this end of last year, there was this guy in South Africa pursuing me. We were attending the same church back home 10, 11, 12 years ago before I got married. So this guy emerges and says he wants me and he wants to marry me. This is just late last year in December. And you know what he's saying? He's telling me, why can't you just sort yourself out and come over to SA? Then we can get married as soon as possible. So you start thinking, oh, where I've come from, you know, by their fruits, really, you know them. That's the same way that I moved that side time. I was told to get married as soon as possible. Now this one, I haven't even said yes to, what do you call it? He's saying he wants to marry me. He's already telling me that, come down to SA, I'll look after you and your child. When are you ready? So that we sort out the flight tickets and all. So you see, if you don't think, you will fall again in the same trap. And you know what happens to these abusers? This is just an advice to the young people that once you get through into a situation like this, it's good to you, because if you continue to be in a vulnerable state, you continue attracting the same people, because they know, okay, if I tell her to come now, she will come. And she's not working. She's new in SA. She has never been in Mpumalanga before or wherever. You keep you here, Ekwapeni, right? And you have nowhere to turn to. So from there, you learn from your mistakes. Like what I would tell myself, would you go back? No, I won't go back there. And I've also learned my lessons. I won't agree to a proposal. It's I wouldn't have gone back, especially when it comes to the guy has not been trained to live, and he's not living and is not cleaving. It's only me we're supposed to live and cleave to him, and I'm not allowed to speak to anybody. So yeah, I think that's all I can say. Then there was another question on safety. How safe am I? Oh, about safety, the restraining order of, we are safe because he moved out of the country. I don't know where as of now, I don't even know where he is. Yeah, but we are safe. We are safe, and God is keeping us. He is our protector. We can have more questions. I don't know if people.
Yes, no, we definitely have more hands coming up. Thank you so much, Marrietta. I think that it's extremely key that we do those background check. And I think the older Marrietta was a young, naive lady who did not necessarily have enough training to consider and act upon the red flags, because clearly there were so many of these red flags. But another thing is, I remember somebody once preaching and saying that you never know you are deceived until you are saved from the deception. And so it's important as well, I think, for those that have walked that walk, to highlight these red flags to us. I even remember one pastor who said that you need to go further than just doing red flags from the person herself or himself. Find out what family your boyfriend comes from. Find out the family dynamics, where, you know, from where your girlfriend is coming from. Find out the relations between your girlfriend's mother and her father. Did you grow up in a household? You know, so you equip yourself for these things. I've had those. And then regarding the issue of the protection order, it's interesting that it was a pastor that advised you, because many people they receive advice from the pastors that you shouldn't go and get the protection order. There is absolutely nothing wrong with getting protection orders. It is as biblical as it gets. And I speak here not only as a Christian, but as an attorney. If anybody has a differing view, we can always discuss those, you know, in a respectable fashion. But for now, there's so many hands coming up, and I'm going to be checking on Facebook as well. So I'm going to give to my brother there, Sandazo. Please go ahead, Marrietta.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you for the lesson. Marrietta, we really appreciate your presence and your strength. God keep blessing you in all of this. I think a question was asked actually by Uma Free, who was saying to us, so what should the role of the church be? And I've got a couple of suggestions. And when we speak about the church, we're not speaking about anything outside any of us here. We're speaking about the church as being you and me. And so if anything is going to be done, it's going to be done by you and me. So we can't sit down and say, we're expecting the church to do this and that, because then the question would be, so who is the church? Who in the church are you expecting to start doing stuff? It has to be us. I'm speaking from a guy's perspective. I think the first thing that we can do is to call each other out as guys, whether it is from friendship level, in church, from social clubs, whatever the case could be. Let's call each other out when one of us is doing wrong when it comes to women. And it's the subtle things that we do. When we condescend in our talk against women, you find you are in church platforms, AMO groups. AMO means Adventist Men's Organization, for those that don't know, and AMO WhatsApp groups. And the way women are talked about in those groups is demeaning. Pictures are sent of women and then people talk about them in the most condescending of manner. For anyone to abuse someone, you must first disrespect them. To abuse someone, you must first think that they don't come on the same level like you, that you are above them. And the church, or even just not the church, culture feeds that onto a boy child. So we grow up thinking that we're better, we're stronger, we're smarter. We see our fathers having power over our mothers. And the Bible, again, is very patriarchal in nature. It whips women into submission. And that's something we talked about last week and all that. So if we're able to call each other out, then we can be able to say, okay, Ashley, you're doing something that is wrong. Stop it. If we need to beat you, that's the language that men understand anyway, beat you for that. That's basically what we should do. Then let's also stop having these demeaning conversations when it comes to women. Say, hey, this one is fat, hey, this one is this. And when guys have sex with women, they say, hey, ngamudla, which means loosely put across thing. Yeah, I ate her, something like that. I'm just, for lack of a better word. Those demeaning things that people say about women. The women that we end up abusing, because that's a situation that we're having in the context of today. These are our friends. These are our sisters. These are our cousins and all that. Imagine if your own daughter would have this done to her. How would you feel? So let's be the first guys to say, let's stop this. Let's fight this. And we're so grateful that God helped you and you're strong and your story resonates with a lot of people. And I'm hoping that a lot of people can be saved from hearing this. God bless you. Amen.
Well, Mthandazo, thank you so much for that. Yazi, as Mthandazo is speaking right now, I'm just thinking about the discussion that is currently ongoing on Facebook between Usis Busi and Brother McClow, where they are just discussing that, you know, they're not oblivious to the fact that I don't know if you guys can hear me. It sounds like my earphones just went off. Yeah. So they're just discussing here, Mthandazo, about, you know, how there are also guys that go through this, you know, this type of behaviors. And we accept that there is a couple of men, predominantly it might be women, but there's a couple of men that also face similar tendencies from their counterparts. And I'm thinking that as men, we've never really been comfortable. I'm going to remove this now because my speaker is acting up. As men, we can never really come out on a platform like this and express ourselves and the difficulties that we've walked through. We are more comfortable sitting together in a private platform and speak about women using demeaning terms or showing how strong and courageous we are, or how many women we've slept with, or how many women fear us within the church, or how many women we've disciplined within the church, and we never really get to expose ourselves. And I think it's important for men that we now have to start having conversations about our own shortfalls. I must say to you, I belong to a little boys club. For those of you that know me, I love racing, and we've got this boys club of racers that we belong to. And just this past week on Wednesday, we had a meeting in Pretoria. And, as we were sitting there, we're just talking and we're having general discussions. And then suddenly one of the guys pops up and he says, "Yo, gents, and these aren't believers. I'm the only Seventh-day Adventist in this crew." And this guy just pops up, and he says, "Yo, Bafwethu, I need help. I need help. I'm really, really struggling with women." And we're like, "Okay, what's the issue?" He says, "Oh, Bafwethu, I'm struggling. I'm married, but I keep having these women, left, right, and center. I'm promiscuous, and I really, really need assistance." One of the guys actually jumps in and he says, "Yo, good. I had a similar demon that was chasing me down all of my life." And he begins to open up about the things that he did, what he subjected his wife to, and how he turned around. And what we failed to realize is we might be thinking that, Marietta's ex-husband was the problem. But, if you go deep into this, you'll realize that this man was a victim of sin, and any of us may very well be susceptible to that nature of demon possessions. And in the same way that he needs deliverance, there's many young men out there who need deliverance. There's many young women out there who need deliverance from this demon possession. At what point can we then stand together in an open environment and say, "Hey, mina bafowethu lana, I'm really demon possessed." In these AMO groups, can we be able to one day stand up and say, "Yo, bafowethu, mina, this is the issue that I'm having"? Of course, it's difficult because other men will start speaking about you. You'll become part of the rumor mill, and it makes it even the more difficult. But that's one of the steps that we need to start taking moving forward, because the current status quo is unsustainable. And the fact that we've been silent on it as Seventh-day Adventists for the longest of times does not make it right. Dimairo family, I'm running the risk of speaking too much here. Jerome and Emma. I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you hear me? Okay. First of all, I'd like to say this is a topic that is very close to my heart. I have a little sister who's in the same situation, and I'd really like to commend you for being able to live, because that's not so easy. Why am I saying that? Because we have tried as well as a family for her, but then she keeps on going back. So I'd really like to commend you for taking that step. Thank you so much. It gives us hope. But now this is what I also wanted just to say to young ladies out there. If you're in a situation like this, there is no shame in your safety. There's no shame in your safety. The problem that we have is like most women, they are scared to live because they are scared to say, what will people say? And I think that's the same problem that I have. My little sister also has. But it's not about people, it's about you and yourself, because you walked into that house, right? Vertically, but you might come out of it horizontally, because those people, they'll kill you, So I'd really like to say to you, thank you for that. And then and I also want to encourage young ladies to say, if you are in such a situation and you've got a support structure, which is your family, your friends and everything, please stick by them and don't be that person, don't be that boy who cried wolf.
that every time you come, you tell your family, they come and try and take you out, you go back on your own again, and then they look like the bad people. That is the biggest challenge that we are facing in some of these situations. So I would like to say, within the church, let's have support groups for these young ladies. Not only young ladies, it's not only young ladies, even there are ladies that are adults that are going through this. So my encouragement to ladies out there who want help, there is an NPO that we started with, which is within the church. We are working with women's ministries. It's called Fountain of Life. If you really need help, please contact me. I'll put the number that you can get on it. Because I know sometimes it's scary because you don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to put a number. The number is anonymous. You send your WhatsApp. If you want to send messages anonymous, you need someone to talk to, you need help, you need shelter, let us know. Then we'll do our best so that we can help each other. And then the last thing is just a question to you, Marrietta, to say, at what point did you feel that I don't care, I just need to move on with my life, I don't care what people are going to say or whatever it is, I'm leaving? At what point did you feel that way?
Yeah, sorry, just a quick one as well. Looking at the ordained elder, I will say that as local church members, we can shape church policy, right? Church policy is not written in stone. We can shape it. Church policy also does not come from the General Conference. We can actually request for a clause which says that if someone is going to be elected in a position of responsibility, an elder, deacon, or any position, ask the spouse. If the spouse says this man is not fitting to hold this position, or my wife is not fitting to hold this position because there's a problem that is there, there's abuse, we must not tolerate leaders that are abusive. We can shape that policy right from the local church all the way right through to the General Conference. As local church members, we can do that. We are the church of today. Let us make those changes. Thank you.
Can I answer that one?
Thank you so much. Yes, please go ahead and answer. And then I'm going to be taking the next hands in succession. So Moano, Van Hedens, Gifton Ash, Princess Luluza, Prof. Shepherd, you guys will be coming in quick succession as soon as Marrietta has responded.
Okay, they're asking at which point that I decided, no, I've had enough. This was when his sister came and they took over the business. I was told that I'm not qualified to continue running the business, so we should let the sister who has got a master's in education to continue. He has stopped eating what I cook. He would rather eat what his sister has cooked. So imagine you're staying in the same house. At that time, I was staying in the same house with his sister. She decided to create her own kitchen in a room. So I cook food, she cooks. The person would rather eat what his sister has cooked. He has stopped eating my cooking. And this was over during the weekend when he comes over to the town that we were in. At one point, I got really sick to the point of going to the hospital. I think it was now stress-related, the headaches and everything. So I asked him if he was going to come over for the weekend. He told me that he can only come if I give him fuel money to drive. I must finance him to come. And before I knew it, the sister had gone to him now, had visited him. Meaning, that's when I saw that, okay, now as it is, I'm all by myself. When he visits, he's bringing groceries for his sister, not for me or the child. And he had refused to pay the fees, registration. You know, you work at an institution where as a wife, you would benefit on rebate fees. That semester, there was a balance of 10,000. He refused to sign the rebate. He told me that his legs are tied. He doesn't know if he has to turn right or left. So he doesn't know if he still loves me. So all those things, seeing all those things, and then the constant headaches that I thought I was going to die. So I said, whatever the church might say, or whatever the people are going to say, I've tried holding on. And at that time, it was 6 years in marriage, and the other pastor was even asking me, why have you stayed for 6 years? So that's when I felt, no, it's enough. I have tried have tried to hold on. We have even gotten back together. I have tried. This is not working and it will not work. And yeah, and before I knew it, his other siblings, including one who is a pastor, when they heard that I have moved out of the house, I thought they were going to call me and ask me what has happened. The next calls that I got were that they are in the country, they had come to sign for the shares for the business, they distributed the business among themselves. So that showed that, okay, that gave me strength to say, okay, I'm done. They don't want me, besides him not wanting me. His family doesn't want me also. So why not just take my child and we go start over? If it means sleeping under the bridge or what, as long as we are out of his clothes. Of course, when I left, he continued labeling me a single mother with failed marriage. So for him, I was just supposed to stay there with whatever he was doing. They are not coming home, not buying groceries, not paying the rent or anything. I was just supposed to hold on there and wait for him as he goes in and out, in and out. I don't want you, I want you, you know. So I think that time, that's when I decided that no, it's the abantu bazothini syndrome will not work. Let them talk, let them stigmatize, let them discriminate at church. At church, I don't care anymore. And I questioned the other time when he got a position as in the building. What was it, by the way? Because he's someone that would donate 4K a month, 4,000 rands a month towards the building project at church. So at one point I questioned the church people, knowing that these people are not in good books. I'm coming to church, I'm not in speaking terms with the sister or him. These things they are watching, right? And the pastor knows about it, that there's friction in this family. People are not talking. They went on to give them positions. So I went to ask, amidst everything that is going on, as a church, you are aware of what is going on. How come you give him and the sister the positions? What I was told was, we don't care about the problems that you are having as a family, as we are just doing God's work. So there's a brother that is saying people must come to the wife or to the husband to ask if how it works. So the church never, in my case, they never came to ask. They just, when I questioned, they told me, no, we don't care about your problems. So it's now different from the worldly people who would call me and say, Marrietta, how are you? I'm fine, how are you? Your husband just called us. He wants money from me. He wants me to borrow him some money. He's saying it's for the business. Are you aware of this? Then I'll say, no, I'm not aware. I was kicked out of the business. So I'm not aware about that money, about whatever challenges are in the business. So like the worldly people, I think the church must also look into before they give someone a position. Because for me, I was going to church with a bit. I remember at one point I went to church. I find the sister is now, she was preaching. She's standing on the officers to preach on divine service. I took my child and walked out because some of those things, I don't know. That's what I wanted to say. Are there any other questions?
Thank you so much, Marrietta. There's definitely many, many other questions. Moano?
Afternoon, Saints. It's not Moano, it's Moano's mom.
Hello, Mama.
Oh, sorry.
Welcome to the platform.
It's not Moano, it's Moano's mom. I was listening to this young girl who was narrating a very, very painful story. To go through abuse, it's very painful, and the people who are in it sometimes they are afraid to go out to confide in people because of Abazotini syndrome. But what I want to tell maybe the church or maybe other sisters out there, when you are facing abuse in marriage, the first thing to run to the police. Go and take the matters to the police so that they can deal with that person. Because my problem with people from church is, you will be sitting in your house, burning day in, day out. And the only thing that maybe what the church elder want to offer is prayer or maybe give him a second chance. My sisters out there, the moment he starts to raise his hand on you, it's not going to stop. it will continue, and you know, people from church or whoever that will be coming to talk to you will be saying, you know what, let's make peace. You will keep on making peace until you get out of that house in a coffin. So be very much careful. I know it's not easy, especially for someone who is in that abusive marriage. You know, when you are outside, you think it's very much easy for them to go out, but it's not easy. You know, you as women, I think, I don't know, maybe we love too much, or we have the hope, or you know, maybe one day he will change, But I'm telling you, once he starts, it's not gonna stop. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mama. Van Herens?
Okay, can you hear me?
Ibo Nozi.
Yes.
I just want to say, you know, sometimes we like to point fingers, but we are also enablers when it comes to these situations of abuse. Abusers have got sisters, they've got brothers, they've got mothers, they've got fathers. And coming to her story, you can see that even the family was enabling the abuse. And a lot of times, many of us, we know an abuser. Some of us on this platform, we know somebody who is abusive, 1 or 2 people, and we don't do anything about it, right? Those people can be our relatives, right? And we can rather take sides with our abusive relatives than to support the victim. This is how abuse continues. And I've experienced this, I've witnessed this myself, to say that as long as it's not me who's being abused, right? I can choose to take even the side of a person who is abusing. So this goes beyond, so this problem goes beyond just church members or the church is not doing enough. We as a society, guys, we have got friends that we know that this one beats women, and we still keep friends with that person. You know that my cousin is terrible with his wife or whoever, and we never say, and we can't even open our mouth. So it's amazing that we know somebody who has been abused, but how come we don't know abusers? So who is abusing these abused? We all know somebody, and it's up, and it's time for us, guys, to stop talking. I think we've talked and talked and talked. It is time to act. Abusers are our brothers, they are our sisters. We know them. They are not someone in the obscure, in bushes, someone that you don't know. It's people that we know, and we protect them. We are to blame. We protect these people. We know them by name, and we protect them. So guys, the problem is with us. Really, if we can look deep down inside, the problem lies with us.
Can I add on something to that?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, like she's saying that we also enablers. I want to give a scenario. We're staying in a small town, and obviously a town whereby people are coming for work, like you have social workers and everything. So I remember going, like I said, it was someone that people looked out to when in church, a soft-spoken guy. So one day we decided to go. I planned on going to the social workers because it threatened to make life difficult for me. So I woke up saying, I think let me go to the social gender and get help there for them to put things in place for the child visitations and everything. That was before the protection order. So I walk in there. There's a lady from church, a sister from church. That was the social worker by that time. So she's the one that was taking care of the whole issue. So she knows me, she knows him, and there's a child here. and there's a dispute. He just wants to be coming to my place whenever he wants to get the baby without, even at 10 p.m. I'm having a problem with him getting into the town that I live in. And 10 p.m. he's demanding to know where I'm staying because he wants to see the child. So I'm going with that report to the social workers to say, no, you cannot just come in and say he wants to see the child at 10 p.m. I want to rest, and the child is sleeping by that time. So there were a whole lot of issues. And the guy even said, I don't know, I got to know Marrietta when she came to me as an employee at our business. I don't even, that's how I knew it. So the social worker, because she is scared of what the elder might say or might do, she saw me being the wrong one, who is emotional. By that time, I was crying, I was screaming, look at what this man is doing to me. He has even stalked me until we didn't even come together. He just followed me in these offices, meaning he's following me. So she ignored all those things, and she went on to give my child to him the whole weekend. Nothing was wrong with him getting his daughter, but the way the whole issue was handled, she ignored whatever I'm saying, that there's abuse here, there are things here. But because she's scared, she just decided, okay, madam, we are writing this thing. If he doesn't bring back the child on Sunday or Monday, phone me. So I went home with a bitter heart. The child is already taken, no change clothes, no towels, nothing. Then 2 months later, the girl, I think she was the lady, the social worker, she's calling me. She's saying, no, I'm apologizing for what I did. I was just scared of him, but as a church, we know how he has treated you. We know that he has kicked you out from the school. We know everything, but I was just scared, my sister. Please forgive me. Meaning that the church also might also be, they're afraid of these aggressors. I don't know. They are also scared. Yeah, I think that's what I just wanted to add.
Thank you so much, Marrietta. We're going to move right along to Gift and Ash.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and Auntie Marrietta. Thank you very much for the story. Some of us, we are very emotional to hear such issues, the extent at which one could go in ill-treating somebody. My question, or maybe my suggestion to this, is I think this guy deliberately took advantage of the situation that you didn't have brothers or cousins that were around with you. If this was my sister, I would have taken it personally and would have dealt with this guy. Some things, they don't need prayer, they don't need the Bible. We just need to sort you out, and you are sorted, and then you'll be in line. Because how can you leave somebody to do this? If it's your child who's being ill-treated like that, as a father, you would not be silent. You take it upon yourself to act on this, because this is not right. It cannot, people cannot leave this to continue. Even if in our churches, people are scared that you are named and you be the one unwanted, the one with a fatherless child. It is just better for you to be alone than to be in such a tormenting relationship like this. But honestly speaking, if this guy knew you had good 4 brothers, I'm sure you would not have done that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good 4 brothers, Gift there saying. I'm going to invite Princess Luluza.
Thank you very much. Oh, thank you, Marrietta. My heart is just heavy within me as I've listened to your story. What a brave young woman you are. We are just so thankful that you got out unscathed and that you're here to tell the story. And also you are here to strengthen your other sisters. And thank you for going naked in front of so many people. We know it must have taken such a lot of bravery from your side, and having been through such a trauma, it will also trigger some of the pain again. Sometimes even if it's polyle, but sometimes if you bump up against it again, it will be triggered, some of the pain. So please do take care of yourself. We're so thankful that you've got people who love you. Big ups to you for living the relationship. big ups to your parents for letting you know that you are always welcome home. Just let us know and we'll get you. And I just want to say to the parents, the message has got to be clear to your daughter, even as she's dating, that home will always be home. Even on the day before you let them go, Mina, when I got married, and I am Xhosa, and my husband is Zulu, and I remember how during those days there was this stigma around how, because my dad worked here in Durban, and I'm from the Eastern Cape, so my mom would constantly see how maybe the Zulus were beating up the women, or the other ones would be like, Shaya, Shaya is fair, and all of that. And my mom was so distressed when she heard that I was going to get married to a Zulu guy. And I remember how it was explicit that Lulu, home will always be home. And they told my husband, like face to face, if there is one thing that you are never ever going to do, it will be to abuse her. If you get tired of her, so I want my daughters to know all the time that no man is worth killing yourself over. And I want to say to the young women out there, be clear from the beginning of the relationship on what you will tolerate and what you will not. Because like Marrietta has rightly said, the red flags are there most of the times. Yes, people are good at faking it and at pretending, but the signs, the red flags will be there. The red flags will be there. So be clear on what you will take right from the beginning and stop being so desperate. And I always say to parents, let's raise our girls not for marriage, not to be somebody's wife, but to be worthy citizens of this country, preparing to be citizens of the eternal kingdom that is about to come. So be clear on what you'll tolerate. Let the majors be very, very clear right from the beginning, and stop acting coy and timid and meek. Some of us young ladies, right from the beginning, already you are still dating, but already there are rules. Good girl was 6 and get food or outside. Like, who are you talking to? I saw your last scene was at 3 a.m. and you're gonna be think, oh, he loves me so much. Oh, he just, you think it's cute. It's not cute. It is not cute. He's controlling you already, but of course he will cover it. He will cover it nicely as if it's love. Oh, I love you so much. It's because I'm so protective of you. Run for life, dear girl. And then I want to say to women, we need to get up and do something ourselves. No one is going to come and rescue us from this issue of gender-based violence. With the whites, you did not see whites standing up when it was apartheid because the system was serving them. And I'm going to say this, even with the male population, most of them, this thing is serving them well. I mean, they are beneficiaries. So why do you think they're going to be standing up and doing and going out and speaking about it? We are the ones who are getting affected here. So we need to get up and do something. And to that end, I spoke here in KZN in 2019. We ganged up together. I'm so thankful that I had someone saying they also have got a program going on in their church. We got together as women in response to exactly. We would see on the social media, women, our daughters calling men trash, saying me too, say all of those things. And we decided enough is enough. So we got up. We got together, we prayed, we fasted, and God led us to form this organization, Sinawe Foundation. I shared some of the details last week, and you can reach out to us. We are all on all the social media platforms. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. You can check us. We've got a website. You can check us our details. We are standing there in support of those who have been victimized. We stand in support of survivors. We've got people who help us in the legal field. We've got professionals, psychologists, social workers, we've got prayer warriors, we've got lots of people who are supporting us. And we're also in contact with other bigger organizations, like we will speak out. What we are doing within the church here in KZN, we're doing empowerment programs, we're doing awareness programs. Right now, we've got a video that we have just released of a psychologist who is a male who's speaking to other males around issues of mental health. Lastly, I want to say to the men out there, stand up and be counted. Stand up and be counted. And the question was, what can I do as an individual? Some of the things you can do is stop those behaviors and beliefs that perpetuate and lead to re-victimization of women. Stop laughing at silly, dirty jokes that demean women. Stop endorsing stereotypes that keep women subjugated. Stop taking the bystander mentality and turning a blind eye and refusing to get involved. And challenge the perpetrator. Dare to challenge the perpetrator directly or indirectly. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mam Lulu. This is our speaker last week. Dr. Frank.
Thank you, leadership. Thank you, Mam Lulu, for that intervention, and I think it's quite a mouthful. I wanted to just trace back to the pen of inspiration. I just want to break down this quotation that Ellen White shares. She says here, few have correct views of the marriage relation. Very few, very few. And then she continues to say, many seem to think that it is the attainment of perfect bliss. And then she continues to say, but if they could know 1/4 of the heartaches of men and women that are bound by the marriage vow in chains that they cannot and dare not break, they would not be surprised that I trace these lines. So those are the first few sentences of that paragraph. And Ellen White says, particularly to young people, the views you have on marriage need to be revised, because many people that are in marriages, they are bound by chains that they cannot and dare not break. So why is it that people who are in abusive relationships keep going back? It is because they are bound by chains that they cannot and dare not break. So for you to avoid getting to that state or to that stage where you have chains that you cannot break, if it's still possible for you to avoid going to that route, you better do so. Unfortunately, we have, as young people, tend to laugh at some of these things when they are said to us. We tend to overlook some of these things. And unfortunately, when we are in it, it's difficult to break it. And only Jesus can come in and break that kind of chain. So if you're you're not yet married, it's important for you to follow this counsel and fall back and implement some of these things. Then she continues to say, marriage in a majority of cases is a most galling yoke. Marriage in a majority of cases is a most galling yoke. There are thousands that are mated but not matched. The books of heaven are burdened with the war, the wickedness and the abuse that lie hidden under the marriage mantle. This is why I would warn the young who are of a marriageable age to make haste slowly in the choice of a companion. Here is where most young people miss it. We are quick to go into, just like my sister said, I'm glad that she's giving the same warning to young people to say, do not rush into these things. Study the person that you are going to marry, because we are given red flags, but we tend to ignore them and say, as long him turned, which is what we eventually pay for. Then the last sentence says here, the path of married life may appear beautiful and full of happiness, but why may you not be disappointed as thousands of others have been? Why may you not be disappointed as thousands of others have been? So I want to say, let's avoid by all means to get ourselves into situations that will pay for in the future. Let us not take lightly the counsels from the pen of inspiration and from the Bible itself that we are given as young people. Then in terms of those that are already in these chains that are binding them and cannot break them, I think we also need to pray for them. I still believe in the power of prayer. Prayer can do amazing things. Over and above the very fact that the church also needs to step up its game. Besides just writing a position statement on abuse, the church needs to go further and do a lot of awareness programs, just like Mam Lulu has said, and also take action. I personally think people that abusive, once we get a report that you're abusive, I think as a church we need to stop this thing of saying we need to gather evidence. The issue of evidence, let it be gathered while someone is laid aside from the church office, because the Bible is clear there that there must not be you must be well spoken of in the community. In other words, you must be well spoken of even by your family. And if that is not the case, then we can sort your issues out whilst we lay you aside and we attend to your situation. So I think the church needs to show its strictness in that regard. And in some cases, I also want to believe that we need to show the victimizer that is not all powerful, and he can be attended to in the same measure that is mating to those that is abusing. It's correct. I think it's also fine that someone who thinks they have it all covered, they must know that there are other superior powers beyond them, and they must be humbled, even if possible, in front of those that they are abusing. Thank you very much, my leader.
Thank you so much, leadership. Okay, there he is. I think Prof. Mpofu was supposed to be next. Marrietta, most of what is coming through now is comments, but to the extent that any questions are asked, please continue noting them. So we're going to have Prof. Shepherd. I'm going to ask my team to assist me there to see whether there's any interactions on Facebook. The chat section on Zoom, guys, unfortunately, I don't think I'm getting anything from there. There's so many going on. If I were to start going through the chat section now, I would have to restart this program. So unless there's something extremely important, please private message it to Xolani, and then Xolani is going to post it into the 230 Conversations group, and we will address it. Prof. Shepherd.
Okay, thanks, Ashley. Thanks, Marriott, for being open and sharing this with us. And I think as a man in the Seventh Adventist Church, all I could say, or I should say, is that I'm sorry for the experiences that you went through. And I'm sorry precisely because it is us men in the church which actually groom and encourage such behaviors. Your ex-husband was not born an abuser, but he learned this behavior from family and even from the church. And domestic abuse and violence is actually learned, and men who do this, they learn this through observation, through experience and reinforcement. And we believe that we have a right to use violence, and in most cases we are rewarded for this violence. And this kind of behavior gives us power and control over partners and even over the church. And this kind of abuse that you went through and is getting these church positions, I think if you don't have an all that serious and busy life, a church position is probably the ultimate position of power, where you are capable of controlling people, and you can ask people, stand in front of people and ask them to stand up, they stand, sit down, they sit down, all that kind of nonsense that happens in congregations. But at the same time, the church, there's a belief when you're baptized, especially if you're a new member into the church, that you're a family will look after you, what, which in the Seventh Adventist Church doesn't actually work. We make these false promises that we never fulfill, to an extent that when there are problems in the homes, the church is probably the last space where you find help, and they're the least and last qualified people that are going to help you out. And this I say especially to the people who are not married, especially women. I remember there was a discussion about the issue of lobola in this platform last year, probably last year. And you might be not a believer in lobola, right? and your family might want lobola just to create relationships. And as a woman, you have a choice actually whether to burn the bridges and tell your family you want to go for free and mess up all the relations. And these abuses or these experiences happen, you might find it difficult to go back. And this, I'm just offering as an advice to young women that you rather respect your family, especially before marriage. Rather respect your family and the advice from your family and counsels from your family, rather than advice from the church or advice from the pastor or counsels from the elders. Because when things go south, you're likely going to find help, or you're likely going to return home to your people rather than to the church, because the church will claim to be family and whatnot. If you have trouble, they will never accommodate you, or they will never take care of you, because they are so scared of your abuser. So do not have much faith in the church to solve any domestic abuse and related issues problems, because the church is only competent in disciplining people who have sex before marriage. That's where we're proficient and prolific at and in. We cannot, besides Meals on Wheels, competently provide for the people who are hungry, for the people who are in the streets, and all these kinds of things. And also, lastly, is at least you knew your worth to an extent that you had to move out. And I would really commend that. And every young woman, if you go into marriage, know your worth. Even if you're not working, he is the provider. Know your worth to an extent that you will not view any abuse to yourself will have to be seen as infra-dignitatem, something that is to be below your standards, and you have to move out or you have to go back home. And this knowing your worth also, I think some speakers have spoken about it previously, that it has to come into issues of developing yourself and all that. But at the same time, my encouragement is you have to have certain things that you can tolerate and certain things that you cannot tolerate. And if abuse happens in the marriage, moving out is tantamount to knowing your worth enough that you move out together with your life. There's some people have left their homes or abusive relationships in coffins because the elders and the pastors have encouraged people to pray and fast, and we're praying for you and all these things while the abuses is happening. Any abuse that happens, I think the competent people to take care of it is the legal people, the police, the social workers, the lawyers, and not the church elders or the church pastors, unless if that pastor has good references in dealing with these things. The church is a church. We even elect elders who beat up their wives, and we know it. And we are sitting in a church nominating committee, and the pastor will say, "Give us proof." And then when you call the wife will deny. But previously, she was confessing in a prayer band, a small group, that the husband is beating them. So at the end of the day, really have less faith in the church, especially our church and its members in these processes. Thank you, Ashley.
Thank you so much, Prof. Olani? No. There was Elder Vusi's hand was also up. My Zoom is unfortunately mixing things up. Elder Vusi, please go ahead. Thank you so much, Prof.
All right. Can you hear me, my leader?
Olani? No. There was Elder Vusi's hand was also up.
Hello.
I'm getting my own echo, Elder Vusi, but yes, I can hear you.
All right. Okay. So let me just. Thank you very much. My sound sometimes gives me problems. First of all, I would like to thank you, advocates, for this program that you have launched. A few weeks back, I listened to another lady with a similar problem. And I'm familiar with these problems. Look of it is like our generation, we have a serious problem inside and outside the church. I think you know me very well. I've been stationed in Louis College for a very long time, working with kids, teenagers mostly. And the sad thing is that a lot of our teenagers now, they are in depression. Some have got anxiety attacks. All this is caused by living with a step-parent, step-mom, step-daddy. All these things, they are linked to kind of family brokenness. And this is the problem that we are facing today in our generation. I sympathize with you, my sister, and I sympathize with the previous sister as well. And they are not alone in this journey. I really don't know what can be done now, but I'd like to thank you that you are still a Christian and you are still an Adventist, because I know a lot of ladies and young people, we have left church because of this kind of scenario. And I thank you that you are not labeling, you are isolating matters, that there are people who are kind of such nature. Not everyone is evil. And I had a conversation with one of my friends during the week, and we're talking about something that I won't bring here because it's not relevant. But he said to me, you know what, you can't change the devil. You can't change the devil. This was a very strong point, and a very kind of strong language that I will use here. That I think my brother, program director, in future maybe also have another program that will be proactive to our sisters, particularly. I know we have a lot of brothers, fathers, husbands who are victims also of this emotional abuse and so forth. We do have them, and men don't open up, I know. But unfortunately, the ladies, they have got that soft spot and so forth. They need protection, unlike us men. Our sisters, I want you to understand this. There are a lot of devils. Let me, maybe, pardon me for my language. There are a lot of people are used by the devil in church today. And some they're in church leadership. Some they are in higher rank of leadership. And to be quite honest with you, let me try to put it softly, but it's difficult for me to put it softly. But I want to put it the way it is. There are people who are hired by the devil in our organization. So I hear a lot of people saying, what's the church doing? What's the church saying? And so forth. I don't think it's going to be easy for us to say the church should do something, because you'll find that out of 7 members of the church board, 7 men are abusing their wives, or 7 women are being abused in that church board. And they are sitting discussing a matter of someone who's being abused, and they're afraid, they don't even know what to say. So what I will advise our sisters who are still single is that, please, take your time. Marriage is not an achievement. Personally, I'm saying this sort of experience. I got married in my mid-40s, and a lot of people have been asking me why. What are you waiting for? All sort of things. And I'm not saying by waiting longer you make a better decision, but personally to work, I had to take my time. So I think we should definitely be proactive to our ladies who are not yet married, to say, please take your time. You rather die single than sign a contract with an evil worker. Because there are a lot of men who are hired by the devil. Some of them, they've got money. Some of them, they are highly educated. Some of them, they are so spiritual. They are vegetarians. They don't even use the faith that once treated meat inside. That's how tricky they are. But they are evil inside. So what I'm really saying is, for now, I have more to do for the singles than the one who are married, because the moment you are inside, the thing is, you're a victim already. Whether you go out or you remain inside, you're already a victim. But the only message I can say to you is, may the Lord grant you a healing step by step, and recommit yourself to the Lord. Jehovah, abe husband yako, of course. But to be quite honestly, there are a lot of good men out there, sisters. Working with young people, what I do is when I see a potential, especially with young girls, I mentor them, I pray for them, I give them books, guide them, make sure that I pray with them and for them to make sure that they don't make silly decisions, or maybe not silly decisions, but the decisions that will kind of give them at a later stage. Sorry, someone was disturbing me. So what I'm saying is, I kind of try and invest my time, especially in the young girls, and also the young boys are neglected. The reason why some of the young boys are doing this, it is because they are angry. Some of them, they don't know their fathers. They don't know their fathers, and they are so angry. The reason they're doing this is that they've just lost it. They don't have mentor because they are growing up in a motherless society where only the mother is active and the mother is absent. So this anger that they have, it is accumulated from childhood, whereby, because you see girls, as it is now, there is 1 out of 100 men can sit my sister, where Sister Marrietta is sitting there, and they testify about this problem. Just 1 out of 100 men. As men, we lock our problems too much in our hearts. But ladies, they speak out. So these boys, they grow up with this thing whereby some of them, they get so much, like I remember a sister, I can't remember the name, who presented a few weeks back. Utumfana wake is so quiet, and she doesn't even know what is in the brain of this boy, because he saw his mother going through a lot. Follow behind this boy in the next kind of, let's say, 10 years or so. Look at him. If he doesn't get proper mentorship, if he doesn't get counseling, spiritual mentoring, that boy also might be a victimizer, because most of the people who victimize ladies, or maybe who are abusers, most of them or some of them, they grew up in the environment or in a setup whereby they have been linked to it, or either they've got unresolved problems. So let's also make sure that we adopt our young boys now who are not yet men, and mentor them and teach them how to love girls, how to value what God has given them. Sorry, I'm a preacher now. I think I will take all of them. But my point is, please, sisters who are not yet there, please don't fall into a trap. And brothers, fathers, Tina, SSA right la upstairs, we are not abusing our wives and our sisters. Let us caucus and form up a team that will be anti-abusing women, a team that will bring unity and love in our community. Thank you so much, my advocate.
Thank you so much, Chaplain. We're gonna move over to the hands here are all over. I'm gonna start with HK.
Thank you very much, Zweli, for unmuting me. And thank you, Marrietta, for sharing such an experience. I believe as you were talking, some of us could relate to what you're saying, and some of us were even triggered with our own experiences. And then I just want to say, when it comes to issues of gender-based violence, especially here in South Africa, it has been labeled as the second pandemic after COVID-19, because AMA states they are very high nationally. And gone are the days where gender-based violence and issues of divorce were labeled for infidels, but now they have really crept into the church, and yet the church is still doing so little or nothing, to deal with such issues. I really recommend churches that have programs that are running to try and curb the scourge that is happening around. So I have a comment more than a question. My comment is, although it has been highlighted partly by Brother Vusi, but I think it's important to emphasize it as well. I would say, as much as we as the church, our responsibility is to make sure that we have running programs for victims of gender-based violence or intimate partner violence in this context. It's equally important for us to try and balance and make sure that we are running parallel programs, because dealing with women and children who are victims and labeling the perpetrator as, you know, as someone who is sick and evil and deserves to rot in prison will not do us so much favor. Because like what Brother Vusi has said, these are equally men that are broken, that were raised probably from broken families and who are angry. He said it right. And then I saw someone in the chat group saying they are angry at who, you know. They are equally angry at whatever circumstances that they were raised up in. And to some of them, abuse was the order of the day when they grew up. There is no other way of living that they know besides abuse, and they have adopted that lifestyle to their own personal lives, and that is why they are treating their partners the way that they're treating them. Not justifying their actions, really it's wrong. But my comment is, let us make sure that as we are running support groups for our women and children, let us also parallel run empowering programs for our perpetrators as well, because not all hope is lost on them. Like what Uesh was saying, in one of their men meetings, one of them was admitting, guys, I've got this demon. There are some who are showing remorse. There are some who are willing to change, but they do not know where to go or where to seek help. So it is equally the duty of the church to make sure such an environment is, such a safe environment is there for men as well, to have this men's forum and sit around and challenge these perpetrator mentalities. Because if we concentrate mostly on the women and we're ignoring these perpetrators and we think they only deserve to rot in hell, at the end of the day, we will take years to get to the root of this problem. But if we make sure that we have challenging programs for them to change their mentalities, to learn new behaviors of dealing with issues rather than using violence, then these very men will be powerful agents of change in us trying to deal with this situation.
Thank you so much, HK, for that comment. I'm going to jump to Lunga, followed by the two Kumalos. I'll start with Skru and then move over to the other Kumalo. Lunga, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much, Sir. I'll be short. First, I want to respond on the issue of what does the church say about these things. I think one mistake that we are making, when we ask these questions, what does the church say when this is happening? We forget that, number one, we are the church. Number two, we forget that the church is a movement. We need to check what the church said 10 or maybe different from what the church says now. The reason why I'm saying this is that some of us are not aware that last year, the voice of the church, the General Conference, released a statement, a controversial statement, that people are allowed to divorce. Pastors were told to allow divorce in cases whereby they see that at the end of it all, one partner may end up dead in the abusive relationship. So we make a mistake of thinking that because we grow up having been told that divorce is not allowed, we are still stuck there, and we forget that God is still speaking and the church is a movement, the church is still speaking. So my first point, we need to when we say what does the church say about this, are you really checking what the church is saying about it in the first place? Because at the moment, the church released a statement that God hates divorce, but it does not hate the divorcee. In cases whereby there is danger that one partner may be dead in a few years down the line due to the divorce, to the abuse that he or she is going through, that person must understand that God does not hate the divorcee. Then my second comment is that there is a principle that says the one who needs the other least in the relationship will always be in control of that relationship. The one who needs the other least in the relationship will always be in control of the relationship. I think one thing that we need to understand is that as long as we have people who enter into relationships in order to be completed, this problem of abuse will never end. The one who needs the other list. In other words, we need to have two people who are complete, two people who don't need each other, two people who can exist even if things go south. And once we reach that state, then we will be able to have happy homes. In other words, I'm saying one of the challenges from the presentation that I got today is that my sister needed the guy most and the guy needed the sister least. And as a result, that led to an abusive relationship. Let's stop this thing of looking for people who will complete us, of needing the other partner more than he needs you or more than she needs you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Pastor Lunga. The time now, Bazalwane, is 17:26. So we've gone way, way, way overboard. So I'm going to be taking the last three hands. And once we've taken these three hands, I'm going to hand it over back to our facilitator, Marrietta, to give us the deliverables of the day. And then we're going to wrap up the program. And as usual, we will still have our after scenes. So please do stay for those that can. But if you can't, you are more than welcome to enjoy the rest of the evening elsewhere. So we're going to start off with, I think I'd say it's Khumalo.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening. Doesn't sound like school. It's nice to hear the other voice today.
It's the wife. I just have
please
one
go ahead.
To the presenter. I would like to find out, would you get married again in light of what you've gone through? And I would like you to answer that with two scenarios in mind. First of all, if your ex-husband comes and apologizes and perhaps he has been delivered from the spirit, would you consider marrying him again? And the other scenario is because now you are at a position where you are no longer dependent on someone else for finances, and you are free to choose who you want to love now. Like you mentioned in the presentation that you felt like you were a rebound chick because apparently he had the first lady he wanted to get married, the parents didn't approve. And you also mentioned that he was financially well off and most of the family members looked on him to cater for their needs. So in the second scenario, given the opportunity that now you are financially independent and love comes, and would you be willing to get married to someone else? Those are my two questions.
Thank you so much. Interesting question there. Khumalo? Oh no, I lost him. I lowered his hand instead of asking him to unmute. I'm gonna go back again. Khumalo?
Yes, hello, how are you? Can you hear me?
Oh, now it's cool.
Yeah, now it's me. Anyway,
Yes, please go ahead.
I'm far from my wife, so it's my first time to hear my wife's voice in the afternoon. So can I be allowed to say hello, my wife?
I don't think she will respond. She's muted, so yeah.
Okay. Hi, Stella Sam. I'm happy you asked those two questions. It's like you're reading my mind. Anyway, this is one of the sad things I had this whole year. Like since unyaka lo qalile, I've been hearing the corona cases, but like what I just heard today, it's just heartbreaking. Like I feel like it was happening to my sister. And I feel like, how about the sister give us the address of the guy and long for it. Because I could tell the guy got married, but he was not mature enough to take up the role of being a married man. Well, my second thing is that guys, can we find a way where we train? Like I was listening to Frank, like the comments that he made there. Can you find a way where we can just group up young men or boys, if I can say, and teach them how to treat women? Like, can we have maybe something along those lines with the little boys or maybe young men can just come closer, and then we talk about these things. How do you view men, and how do you view women, and how should you treat them? My last comment is marriage has got one word from my side in description. Like when I have to describe marriage is tolerance, but not to say you tolerate something that is against human rights, that basically defies the human rights. No, but like there are a lot of things, a lot of differences in marriage that comes through, and that needs maturity to tolerate that. Not to say there are bad stuff. Maybe if I can give an example, let's say the toothpaste, how you squeeze the toothpaste. Someone will squeeze it from the back, someone will just squeeze it anyhow. And if that can even lead to havoc in marriage, if you don't tolerate your partner's personal tendencies. So to those who are planning to get married, I think, guys, there's hope in marriage. For me, I have not yet arrived, but so far I'm enjoying my marriage. So let's have hope into that. And the church is not really helping much. I think this platform can help to come up with topics, and maybe if Masokuvuli ama thing like this curfew stuff, this corona thing, if we're not allowed to meet up, just come up with a program where we just put men only, and we start talking about these things and helping each other. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you so much for that. Marrietta, we're going to be getting our last comment from Xolani. Once that's done, I'm going to be handing it over back to you to answer the few questions that have been asked, as well as to give us the key takeaways from today's discussion. Before Xolani jumps in, I just want to also come in here as a host and maybe ask you a question or two. And it might be difficult for you to answer the first one, but if you can, or to the extent that you can, please do give it a shot. There are people just like you that bring an end to these type of relationships. Then there are also people who have gone through similar experiences, and they somehow overcame, they overcome, through the Lord's intervention. And not to say that God did not intervene in your situation as well. And so my question would be, you have left. Would you encourage everybody that goes through what you have gone through to pack up their bags and leave? Or would you say that there is a certain point of no return, which is the point that you would advise that people should leave? The second of three questions, the third question is not mine, but the first two are mine. The second is about your lifestyle during the marriage, particularly your prayer lifestyle. What was your relationship with God during this ordeal that you were going through? How was your prayer life like? Were you in touch with God? Were you close to God? Would you say that you were in constant communication with God? Was there any fasting that was involved? And would you say that the ultimate decision for you to leave was by virtue of that communication and bond that you had with God, if any? Then the third one, it's a question that was sent to me via WhatsApp. And this is about the red flags. Sorry, I'm just trying to find it here quickly. It says, at what percentage are red flags considered too much for one to get married to a certain person? To balance the issue of red flags and the fact that nobody is perfect. So I think one of the main points of discussion in this discussion was that for young people such as myself that have not yet been married, it is important that we do our due diligence and we look at red flags. And Sistembi here is saying that red flags are most likely always going to be there. At what point would you say that these red flags they're too much for me to go and get married? And then the very final one, which is also got, sorry, I'd say three, but I just got one more. And the fourth and final one is that, would you say that you are fully healed from your experiences? Would you say that? And I think that ties in with the question that came from Mrs. Kumalo, that would you say that you are prepared to continue into another marriage relationship? Can you say that you have fully healed from your experiences, or it is still a journey that you are walking? So those are the four from my side, which I'll ask you to just tackle in your conclusion. And I will ask Xolani to also come through there with his questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I had a comment to say, we are talking about how maybe we can mitigate the situation of abuse of women by men. It's good that our sisters take advice from us, their brothers, from us, their friends, from us, their other female relatives, or whatever the case could be. The making of an abuser is a very complicated process, but there are certain things that as outsiders we can see and we can advise on, to say maybe you should reconsider this. Oftentimes I think those that have tried to have gotten the raw end of the stick, because it's difficult to advise someone who's in love. Someone said that a woman in love, or a man in love, or someone who believes in a prophet, those kind of people you cannot deal with. They probably will never listen to you, or whatever the case could be. So I honestly, truly encourage someone who's in a relationship now, whether it's marriage or just simple dating, and there's red flags and all that, and other people are seeing it. Please take advice. Please take advice. Take advice before things get worse. Learn to listen to people who say, your genuine friends that you trust. Obviously, there are people who are jealous and people who probably will look at things differently. But learn to take advice when it comes to situations to do with your partner. If he's able to speak to you in a demeaning manner in front of everyone, then definitely there's something wrong right there. Take advice on that. There's something wrong right there. Take advice. I speak like this because I've had a situation like this. My sister, close family, my sister. And I think another thing, we struggle with our sisters because they protect these perpetrators. We want to fight them, like what Kumbuzo said. We want to be physical with them, literally. Our sisters protect. And it's because we're speaking about personal issues here. I had a situation where my sister was being abused, went there, fought with the guy, took him together with my sister, took the guy to the police station. And then I wanted to go in further and do the constable offices, blah, blah, blah. So I was told, no, this is an issue between the two of them. So stand outside. Stood outside, waited. Lo and behold, after 5 minutes, They come out holding hands. They come out holding hands. Everything is fine. And she's still bruised. And guess who becomes the bad guy here? It is us. The ones who try to help at the end of the day. And when now we become the topic of discussion in the evenings to say, yeah, your brother, your friend, your elder, your what was trying to interfere into our relationship. By all means, sometimes, guys, please take advice. Be very clever before things get out of hand. Learn to sit down and take honest advice. We can see where guys, we can see an abuser miles away as guys. Hence I said we should put each other to the task. We can see an abuser, the way he speaks to you, the way he handles you, the way everything we can see. Learn, our sisters, please. Do not be just blinded by love. Just because you're so in love with this guy, you ignore everything. Learn to take advice when it comes to you. Yabon.
Thank you so much. Mtandazo Dlovu, one of the 230 Conversations folks. Marrietta, the spotlight is yours. We do apologize for keeping you this long. But please go ahead, and once you're done, you can also sum it all up for us with the word of prayer.
Okay. I have 4 questions here. The first one says, would you get married to him if he comes to apologize? And maybe to think that is a changed man. Getting married to him, no, I wouldn't, because from my past experience, I used to go back. He apologizes, you go back, that's better. It will continue to, it will only get worse. Now he comes and says, I want to marry you, or I want you back. He now knows what you do if you're abused. Obviously, go to the police or you go for a restraining order. From me, I wouldn't take him, because next time he's going to kill me. Like, you already promised to put someone in a wheelchair. So what would, to put me in a wheelchair? So why would I think that, what would have changed? Apart from his word to say, I am sorry, I have changed. Everything, things have gone really bad with his family, with mine. Things are not okay. We are not in good books. We are not in talking terms. They hate me, you know. So I wouldn't, given the chance, I wouldn't even go back to him. Then getting married to someone else. I'm not someone who will say all men are the same. There are good men out there. There are good families out there. So if someone comes and for me, they are okay, I would get married again. I haven't ruled out thing of getting married again, but obviously not now or in the near future. But okay, in the near future, I would get married again. Then there's a question: what would I tell someone who's in the face with the similar experience of abuse, and would I encourage them to leave, or would I tell them at which point are they supposed to leave? Every experience is different. Our experiences are different. Personally, I wouldn't encourage someone to leave. You just give some pointers to say, you give some pointers, red flags when there's danger or what. But I'm not. They come to me. I always talk to people. They always come in my inbox. We chat. I'm not in a position to tell someone to leave their marriage. We just talk, you give some pointers, and it's up to someone to decide whether they have to pack their bags and leave or to stay in there. But you just give, you just let someone know how the worst case scenario of the situation. But someone might come and say, I've been choked, he pushed me to the wall and he choked me, you know. For me, I would just ask you, okay, so do you think it will get any better? What if he chokes you to death? What are you going to do? You give someone pointers, because tomorrow you don't want to say, okay, you don't want to hear stories like, okay, yeah, this lady, she's the one that said I must leave marriage. And with the situation now, I'm a single mother, right? I'm not married. You advise someone to leave. Tomorrow they'll say, she just wanted me to be like, yeah. You know, they'll forget the danger that they've been in. So it's up to someone to decide whether they want to leave or to stay in the marriage. Then to which point is someone supposed to leave if they have to tell someone to leave? Like I said, every situation is different. you know how tight your shoe is. You won't need anyone to tell you that, okay, now it's time to leave. You just lift your bags and you leave. So we are different, and all the situations are different. Then my relationship with God in the marriage. Okay, I was prayerful. I was in the prayer band before and in the marriage. We used to pray together as husband and wife. In the evening, we had a devotion, the two of us. We had our books there, the marriage books, the highly effective marriage, the spirit of prophecy. We used to pray together. And even after I left the marriage, I used to pray. I was in constant communication with God. But there was a time that I spent 6 months without even going to church. That was in early 2017 when I lost everything and I decided to, to leave. I stopped going to church. I told myself, no, there's no God. The church neglected me. They were no longer coming to even see me. They were not checking up on me. Rather, they still have him and his sister. So at that time, I stopped praying. I stopped going to church. It took me 6 months it took me, I stayed at home for 6 months. But then I decided, okay, God is still there. I've come out of this situation. He has been protecting me. And now I'm not working. He has been the provider. So why would I decide to leave God's hand? And from the onset of the problems, when the problems began, I joined so many prayer groups. I needed all the prayers. I needed all the counseling. I never let go the hand of God, even up to now. Then there was a question on the percentage of red flags. You know, as we have been talking, I've shared the experiences. Some have even shared their experiences also, and we have seen the red flags. It's up to you as an individual to say, this I can live with, this I can't live out, or I can't live with. I cannot live with a man that is cheating. I cannot live with a man that is insulting me, or in a relationship he is shouting at me, is telling me obscenities. There are red flags, like we are saying, no one is perfect, right? Some things you can live with, or maybe the things of what you might call the squeezing of toothpaste a red flag. So that's what I'm saying, that some things you can live with. But as long as you can come up with a scarf with those wrong red flags, then I think it's something you cannot get committed with. So there's no specific percentage. It depends. Everything else might be fine, but maybe it's just cheating, is sleeping around. That's a whole red alone. That issue alone, you cannot get married to someone who's like that, hoping that it will change, but it will only get worse. Then the healing. There was a question that have I completely healed. Honestly, I haven't completely healed. When I thought I have completely healed, there are certain times, there are triggers. Like I'll give, for instance, last Sabbath, there was a program on YouTube where one of his eldest brother that has abused me was singing. It was written, pastor singing, you know. For me, I'm like, I'll not even look at this. I even wanted to go and pass a comment, and that alone showed me that I haven't completely forgiven. I haven't completely healed. So it's a journey that I am still working on. Then also on the issue of the DNAs, that was a traumatizing experience, that you haven't slept with anybody else. The child is 100% his, and someone is taking me to DNAs. And I see the community is normalizing the paternity test and everything at this stage, right? So for me, there were times that I didn't want to watch the paternity court on TV. I would just switch off the TV. And there were times that I didn't want to hear anything about the DNAs. But now I can go to the paternity court program, I can watch it, and I can laugh about it. So the healing is coming. I'm receiving my healing. Though it takes time, there are still triggers. Like if I see a car similar to his, there for me, I'm like, you know, you shiver, you think maybe he's back or something. Yeah, but until I'll see a car and say, oh, you won't get any feeling. I mean, I will say I've received complete healing. when I won't react to the triggers or to anything that reminds me from where I have come from. And I have made peace also with the fact that I have lost everything from the business side and everything, and they're starting over. So you admitting that, me admitting that, okay, life happens, things happen, you work for things and you lose them, right? I'm willing to start over. That shows that you have viewed. But the moment that you continue crying, I hate this, I hate that, I'm grounded. And like I always say, where there's breath, there's still hope. And we continue praying for complete healing and for complete forgiveness. Okay, the takeaway points are, number one, I'll continue saying this, let's not ignore the red flags. There's no way that someone is going to, once they are there, we need to pay attention to them to see if you can live with them or with that. But once your heart is saying, no, don't, I think you just have to, what do you call it, suspend the engagement and stop. Don't go in with feelings, but with everything, your mind and heart on it. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, this thing of reporting the abuser. There are people that will be willing to help us. Like parents are saying, you can come back. You go to your sisters, you share with them. No, he has done this, he has done that. They are reporting him, right? Then when he says come back, the two of you decide to make up. We have this habit of going back to him and say, my sister was even saying you're a fool. My mother even said you're a dog or what. You tell them again, they continue having the power over you, that, and they hate your parents, they hate your sisters, they'll continue to disrespect us, and don't go and try to paint those other people black, right? And the other thing, there's nothing wrong with being a single mother. There's nothing wrong to come back for a failed marriage. What is wrong is coming back in a box, in a coffin, because you would have died from abuse, from stress. It's not only physical. Abuse is not only physical. Like I said, there's never hit me, not he had tried, but he has never slapped me or anything. But emotional abuse is equally dangerous. It kills. I almost died because of it. So abuse is not only coming physically, but emotionally, economically, it's equally dangerous. So it's something that we need to look at. Then we find that as people, we have gone through things during our childhood. Some things that we are not willing to talk about, some conversations that were not easy to talk about. We have gone through things. There are mommy issues and there are daddy issues that we cannot come in. And those things continue hating us and they continue haunting us. We take those things, right? You go into the marriage with those things. You get into an abusive situation like this. So you have these daddy issues with you and mommy issues there with you. You get into a marriage again, there's a child in there. You decide not to heal, right? So what will I be showing? What will I be showing my child? So it's always important to, with support of friends and family, to heal from whatever we have gone through, from whatever situations that we are faced, because you don't want to say when my daughter is facing a similar situation in the next few years to come, I tell her, suck it up, because I've also been through the same. Children need a whole healed mother or a whole healed father. And that way I think life would be better. So I just want to thank 230 Conversations for giving me the opportunity to come and share with my brothers and sisters. And if you are there as a brother that has been doing it or that is doing it, I hope this is a call for you to change. It's painful, it kills. We are not happy when we are being abused. We are not happy when our sisters are being abused. So I hope you find the strength and the wisdom from God to be able to stop the abuse, to love your family like the way Christ loved the church. And if there's also a sister who's doing the same to the brother, I hope we've all learned a lesson. Like I said, from this conversation, we're not here to bash anyone. We're not here for a pity party, but we learn from all the experiences. I'm sure we've picked one or two that we are going to be, and may God help us to be able to implement the lessons that we've got. And above all, to be prayerful for those that are contemplating into getting married, for those that are in marriage, and for some of us that are out. May God continue to grant us the grace. May God continue to give us all the wisdom that we need as we continue to go through this journey of life. Thank you so much. May we all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant week ahead, and be safe from this COVID-19. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marrietta. From the 230 Conversations team, we really, really grateful, and I don't think that words can express our gratitude. You taking out your time to come out. We are praying for your healing process. We praying for your child as well. And on the same token, we pray that God may grant you a brighter future, and that as much blessings as is going to be giving to you, that your ex-husband may also receive a similar portion of blessings. We pray that God might also make him a better being, and give him a better future, to make him a man that is going to be a positive contributor to the society. I'm sure I speak on behalf of many when we say that this afternoon we have learned. As a man, I am challenged, and as many young women that are on this platform, I do hope and pray that they've also been encouraged. And my prayer for many of the people on this platform is not that marriages come to an end. The first priority is for God to save our marriages. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and if it went, Marrietta would not have gone into it to start off with. And I'm sure that she would attest. And still, I love when you say that presented with the opportunity, it is still something that you would want to partake in. And that is because you do take cognizance of the fact that marriage is a beautiful institution that was instituted by God. And next week, in fact, Marrietta, if you are available, please feel free to join us. We are actually going to be having the positive side of things. We've got a couple that is coming through that is going to be sharing the joys of marriage and the beautiful side of marriage, and hopefully encourage many of us on the platform to go into this institution and be better men and women. The conversation that we had today is going to be uploaded on YouTube tomorrow, midday. So please follow 230 Conversations on YouTube. It was a very, very tough topic, to be honest. And I know that there's a lot of people that appreciated. Some of them, it was even so hard for them. I know that there's some people that fell as we were having the discussion. But we thank God nonetheless. The Facebook family, we're going to be closing down our Facebook live stream. Please join us on Zoom if you want to partake in the after scenes. If you still have other questions that you wanted to ask, our speaker may not be able to stick around with us, but we're going to be having a free-for-all discussion that is going to be commencing shortly. So please feel free to join us. And everybody, may God richly bless you. Catch you next week, same time, same place. We are going to be praying now. Marrietta, we're going to be praying, and I'm going to ask everybody else to just close their eyes wherever they are. I see Prof. Shepherd Mpofu has his hand up. Okay, that's gone down. Maybe he wanted to pray for us. Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before your throne of mercy with thanksgiving in our hearts for the courage that you have given to Sister Marrietta. Dear Father, it was indeed a challenging lesson on all fronts. And we pray, dear Father, for a better men and women within the church, dear Father. This is an institution that you blessed, dear Father. In fact, it is only one of the two institutions, dear Father, ordained by you at the very creation and foundation of this earth. And it only makes sense, dear Father, that with the same energy that the devil is using to attack the Sabbath day, he is also investing the equal amount of effort, dear Father, to attack the marriage institution, dear Father. What we pray, knowing, dear God, that you remain in control, and we ask this evening, dear Father, that you might take charge of the marriages that are already existent, that you might take charge of relationships, dear Father, that are heading towards marriage, dear Father. May you preserve your children, dear Father, in these marriages. May they be moments of bliss, dear Father. Let it be that there is more of showing off in our marriages, dear Father, or the showing off of our marriages, dear Father, than the sad stories that we have received this afternoon. Notwithstanding, dear Father, that some have walked through this path, dear Father, to make the road a bit less more cumbersome for others. We pray, dear God, that you might strengthen these that have walked the tough road, dear Father. May you strengthen them beyond measure. May you bless them. May you bless their families. In some of these instances, there are children involved, dear Father, and we pray, dear God, that you might also mold these children to become better citizens, dear Father, and not to be shaped by the difficulties that their parents have gone through. Hear now our prayer, dear Father, in the mighty name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen.
Amen.